videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Back with you on the next round as we roll on. Before Brownie tells us about our friends at A+, Brad Powers, who covers some wagering, says he doesn't believe in all the time in trends. But he says this week FCS Montana State, as LT pointed out yesterday, is a sizable favorite over FBS New Mexico.
Play it.
FCS teams in small underdog and favorite role actually do quite well historically, 65% against the spread, he says. A number you probably have seen, huh?
That's a strong number right there.
Strong number, 65%.
I had not seen that, but look, when you get an FCS that is a double-digit favorite on the road in an FBS,
you just never see that.
That shows you there is a talent discrepancy right there.
So he even says small underdog and in favorite role, 65% against the spread. Where does that lean you on Thursday night, North Dakota State, Colorado? Not an official play, but are we starting to think?
You know, I faded Colorado for the majority of last season. It probably starts that same way.
Back to that first game you mentioned, do you guys know who the head coach of New Mexico is? Had to look it up.
Yeah, actually.
It's a name you know.
Yeah, it's...
He is a former. It's no longer the former Notre Dame coach.
It is not.
No, give me
Bob Davie?
Give me the initials.
BM.
Brandon Marcello.
No. Bronco Mendenhall.
Oh, yeah.
Former BYU and Virginia coach in his first year there.
Never know why he left BYU.
Yeah.
Yep.
A+, and then these 4 win streaks, one of them on the line this weekend.
A+ Tile Home Remodeling. That is who redid the master bath in the Brown house. They did such good work there. Lance decided to use them in his house and even did his kitchen, not just the master bath, but the kitchen. This came after my wife scoured the internet when it came time looking for someone to redo our bathroom, looking for the best contractor, the best person for the job. She talked to several contractors, people that used them, read reviews. She selected Brad Bell. I am so happy she did. He specializes in master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. That is his specialty, but he does anything really that you want. If you want to get on Brad's docket, you need to do it. So many Next Round audience members. I was talking to Brad the other night at the kickoff party, and he's like, man, it's just always like people from your show, which we appreciate that, but that shows you the kind of work he's done, that the word has spread. People continue to use him. 205-422-1758. That is the number for Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling. Don't put it off any longer. Get it done now. 205-422-1758. Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling. We were laughing about Dunaway because I used to say, and this was true, Brad can work anywhere in Alabama. And Brad's like, let's dial that back. I have got so much going on right now. I don't want to overextend myself, thanks to you guys. Yep. And I said, one time, Dunaway said Greg from Pell City could roof anybody in the SEC footprint.
Yep, I did.
I said
sounded good.
I said like 20 minutes later, some guy from Tennessee calls Greg.
Yeah, Chattanooga, actually.
Yeah, Greg's like, Jim, let's dial that back a little bit.
Yeah, Chattanooga. I'm going to do this job, but let's dial that back a little bit. All right. This weekend, Florida State, 4th longest regular season win streak, 17 straight for Florida State. It's on the line against Georgia Tech. 4th longest win streak. There are 3 with longer regular season win streaks. Washington has got an 18-game regular season win streak.
Yeah, Kalen DeBoer.
Michigan's got a 28-game win streak.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, a lot of college football to get to on the show today, including Brandon Marcello, who will come rolling in here in the next segment. We'll talk to Brandon about what's going on in college football. We are just a few days away from our bold prediction show live at the Floribama. That's coming up Friday. We're down there 9 to 12 at the Bama, right there on the Florida-Alabama line, as we get ready to do the show and get 3 bold picks.
If you're going to be looking for us, and what blows us away is how many of you on the coast come out to see our show when we're down there. I can't tell you how much we appreciate that. We are going to be doing the show from the Old River Grill, which is the sports bar across the street from the Bama, actually within the state of Alabama. That's not a Florida part. That's the Alabama part. So we will be across the street from the main Floribama. So if you want to come hang out and watch the show, the Florida Grill, the Old River Grill, is where we'll be on Friday, 9 to noon, and then we're going to do a mystery fifth hour from there too. So basically 9 to about 12:30.
And they'll let you in. They'll open up a little early for you to come in there if you get there early. But when they open the main doors, you can start ordering food and drinks around 11 o'clock. So it's a good time, and we'll kick off college football. Had a nice group come by. Had Steve on DM me last night on Twitter. Says, hey, Jim, love the show.
Thank you, Steve.
Work all the time, but I would love to take a vacation day, come see you guys at the Floribama. I can't arrange it this quick this time. Will you be back for the Army-Navy game so I can go ahead and put in for vacation? I told him we don't know that yet. Yeah. Hit me back next week, and we'll see if we have the details.
So we do that annually, Lance, but what complicates it now is the college football playoff. Doesn't necessarily mean we won't, but the college football playoff starts the next week. So I guess that depends on our travel schedule. You're talking about
it starts the weekend after Army-Navy, right?
That is correct, yeah. So we have Army-Navy weekend, and then but the only issue would be is if we're traveling, which I don't know that we would be. So I'd say there's a pretty good chance we'll be there for Army-Navy.
I told him to hit us back next week. Yeah. Maybe we'll know some details after spending some time with the Floribama folks.
Always enjoy the Army-Navy weekend. That's a fun time.
Me too, and we got home games in the first round of the playoffs, so hopefully if any team we cover in the SEC
at least be at home, right?
Get a home game, so you don't have to travel there. So that's some of the stuff to jump in on coming up. Friday's our bold prediction show, and then of course Week 0 happening this weekend, and we got a Week 0 starting quarterback named.
That's kind of late.
SMU named their starting quarterback. Preston Stone is the starting quarterback.
I got something funny on this game.
Biggest non-surprise out there. Yeah. Preston Stone was great last year for Rhett
But he got hurt, and Kevin Jennings came in and was equally as good. So both will play versus Nevada, Rhett Lashley says, which means to me
they feel like they're going to easily handle Nevada.
Rhett Lashley feels like I do. It's going to be a little motorboating.
I mean, go ahead. Can you say it with the same vigor you said it yesterday numerous times about what that game's going to be? And then after you say it,
bloodbath.
No, hang on. After you say it, I am going to read.
Down.
Hang on. After you say it, I'm going to read one of the first tweets I saw this morning. Okay, say it with your full chest.
SMU is going to run them out of the stadium. SMU is going to drill Nevada. It's a 70-point game.
Dunaway said that numerous times yesterday. One of the first tweets I see is from Brian Edwards out in Vegas. For Saturday night's Week 0 opener, Nevada and SMU, most books moved SMU from minus 27 to minus 24.5 yesterday.
That's a big drop.
2.5 point drop.
It's a major drop. Was there an injury yesterday that I didn't see? Okay.
Kamar Wheaton, who was their starting running back, had season-ending surgery yesterday.
Season-ending?
On his knee, yep.
They still got 3 quality running backs, and that's a team that the defense is actually what won the AAC for them last year.
Yeah, their starting offensive tackle and one of their starting defensive tackles is being held out of this game too. So I think it's some injuries, Wheaton, and some other injuries that probably dropped the line. That's a significant movement, though, 2.5 points.
Under Jay Norvell, I mean, Nevada was a tough out back in the day. The last couple of years, they've been awful. They're bringing in Montana State's head coach to try to get things turned around, but they just they don't have a roster right now. Yeah. So I tend to agree. SMU can kind of name their score. You just wonder if Nevada's going to try to slow that thing down. I mean, it is basically 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, and a running clock often. So it's a great point betting-wise. But, all right, so we already got a starting quarterback. We got a major injury, and the landmine has moved 3 points
But
in
I
Vegas.
like this SMU
crazy.
team. You know, I was on with our friend Ian Fitzsimmons last night, and we were doing best win totals of the college football season, and I think you're getting a lot of value with SMU at 8.5.
Is that what they are?
The over 8.5 because, they won 11 games last year, but coming to the ACC, I think they're being devalued just because they're coming to this conference. It's going to be more difficult, and you look at some of the teams that made the jump to the Big 12 last year, and Central Florida and BYU didn't have success, Houston. But I think SMU is equipped right now in this ACC to really play with these guys.
Keep that win total in your conversation with Ian Fitzsimmons in mind. Later in the show, we'll play a little game with SEC win totals and see if we can get a friendly wager going between the guys. Before I tell you about Precision Sports Medicine, Brett McMurphy with an interesting tweet. Just in the last 3 years, there's only 3 programs that have won multiple major conference championships. And Georgia ain't one of them. That's always amazing. Georgia's been so good.
How few SEC championships they have to show for.
In the last 3 years, they've won more national championships than SEC championships. Alabama's won 2. Michigan has won 3 in the last 3 years. They've swept the Big Ten. Name me the other school other power conference school.
It's Utah.
It's Utah. They've won 2.
Everybody, they dog me out for liking
You
Kyle
love
Whittingham.
you some Utah.
And the fact of the matter was Utah was really good. Were they one of the 4 best teams in college football? Probably not, but they were one of the best 12 teams in college football for the last 3 years. So now when you get the expansion to 12 teams, Big 12's probably not going to get consistently multiple teams in, but Utah is a team that can own this conference.
Correct me if I'm wrong. For all he's accomplished, Kirby has got 2 SEC championships. Am I right about that? 17 and 21? No, Alabama.
Yeah.
I think he's got 3.
I think
he got 3?
I think it's 3.
I
think it's 3.
know he
Alabama never lost one to
That's
him.
right. He beat the LSU. Was it LSU?
He's got 2 SEC championships.
Brian Kelly.
Yeah, 2 SEC, 17 and 22.
Yep.
That's it.
Beat LSU and Auburn.
Yep, LSU and Auburn.
Yep.
I mean, that is crazy to think everything he's done. I hate to say he's only got 2 SEC championships, but I'm going to say it. He's only got 2 SEC championships.
I'm telling you, though, man, look, and you can't really take anything Kirby has done away because he's got a machine there. But Jamison Williams doesn't go down, and Ryan Day doesn't get conservative. I mean, really.
I have a national championship.
How different is the narrative?
I do hate to play the if game, but those were 2 pretty significant
They really
moments.
were.
Yeah.
He's Ryan Day South.
No, I think that would be, watching my favorite sports talent, Kimberly Martin, talk about Ryan Day and Ohio State. Feinbaum was on with the guys this morning, and he was talking about if he loses to Michigan and doesn't get into college football playoff, it doesn't matter how gaudy the numbers are. He thinks he's going to be out. And I mean, it's kind of hard to disagree with. I mean, it's insane to think about.
It's kind of hard to agree with and kind of hard to disagree with, right?
But if Michigan rebuilding with a first-year coach goes into Columbus and beats them and keeps them out of a college football playoff, that would be devastating.
I mean, look at AK, though. He says in the mybookie.ag chat room, code next round, it's because the media exaggerates his and Georgia's accomplishments. Guys, he's 94-16, 56-9 in conference.
Yeah. He's won 39 straight regular season games.
2 national championships. I don't know that you can exaggerate that.
Yeah. I mean, just look around the landscape of college football. How many guys have national championships and still coaching?
I did have this thought this morning listening to our buddy Rick Neuheisel talk about Courtney Morgan in Alabama. Is there a possibility with the dear kid that they just got the verbal from yesterday? Is there a possibility that if Kalen DeBoer recruits in the neighborhood of Nick Saban, could Kalen DeBoer actually be a better in-game coach than Nick Saban? I think that is a fair argument. I really do.
Did somebody say that?
No, I was just thinking it to myself. Like, Alabama was afraid that this guy wouldn't be able to recruit. They're
number 2 in the nation right
They've
now.
got something in place right now that is absolutely working.
Okay.
And I'm just saying, if they get all that talent in, is there a possibility in-game DeBoer is a better coach? I'm just asking the question out loud.
Okay, let's get into that, but
Okay.
let's get some sponsors in here first. Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedic, your provider there, 205-512-3885, 512-3885, precisionsportsortho.com/2024. All the tweaks, all the pulls, all the pains, all the breaks. If I've landmined one of your players, Precision will try to get them back on the field. Diagnose, treat, and rehab. You'll see them at high school football stadiums starting this week. Locations in Jasper and in Alabaster and Fultondale and all around the Birmingham metro area. It's orthopedic care better together with our friends at Precision. Find your provider today. Again, the number 205-512-3885 or online for the location near you and all the details, precisionsportsortho.com/2024. First, he brings it up, so let's give you the official news there that happened after the show. We had reaction over at covercrimson.com. A killing deer, one of the elite running backs in the country, picks Alabama. I think it was 24/7 that had him as a 4-star, consensus 5-star. Some services had him as the number 1 running back in the country. One-time Ole Miss commitment from Quitman, Mississippi. He picks Alabama over Ole Miss and Mississippi State. 200-pound frame. Lower body strength, runs track in high school, has an 11.4 second 100 meter on the clock, not in pads, but he has breakaway speed, but he has a quick burst, the power with the lower legs. This is a kid that will be an NFL running back someday, barring injury.
So the headline would already be made if he was a quarterback. Deer in headlights, Georgia whips ass.
Yeah.
He's already given a verbal to Ole Miss. Let's just see where the kid ends up. Again, I mean, it's exciting for Alabama fans right now, but how many times are these kids going to flip before they actually scratch out a name?
It feels like we're seeing more and more of it. This kid obviously is good. He's not too far into Mississippi. He's almost state of Alabama commitment.
right.
Equipment, Mississippi's just over the state line. So when you say, like, I mean, it kind of gets played up like Alabama went into Mississippi and stole a guy. That's almost like, you know, the demilitarized zone. I don't know why I stuttered so bad on that. The DMZ between Mississippi and Alabama. But I'm with Lance. You know, when these, I said it when the Coleman kid flipped from, I got to remember this, Alabama to Auburn to Auburn. No, wait a minute.
Alabama, Auburn.
Yeah. When he made those flips, I'm like, with this kid or any kid, it doesn't even matter to me, Lance, when they sign. It's when I see them in a uniform in a regular season game making a play that I finally say, okay, well, they're on that team.
Yeah, and here's the Courtney Morgan part of this. He's sort of the guy that oversees everything, including recruiting in Tuscaloosa. Everyone was going crazy about the $825,000 average salary. He got a $325,000 boost in salary. Comes out yesterday from Matt Zenitz and others that USC's offer to him was a smooth $1 million a year. He turned down a smooth $1 million a year to stay at Alabama for $825,000.
Smooth $1 million a year don't spend in L.A. $825 spends in Tuscaloosa.
I mean, that's really not that close, is it?
It's really not.
What do you think $1 million a year is in Alabama dollars? $1 million a year in L.A. in Alabama dollars.
Honestly, probably about $400,000.
Yeah, I was just say 400,000, $500,000.
So if I'm making $1 million at USC, that's equivalent to me making $400,000 in Tuscaloosa.
Correct.
Wow.
L.A. is crazy expensive.
Think about it. I mean,
I know I went there twice last year.
Yeah. I mean, think about if Courtney Morgan, I don't know where Courtney lives. But
And that's really where it hits you as a property.
Yeah, I mean, if Courtney Morgan wanted to live within 5 minutes of Alabama's campus, he could have any house he wants.
Yep.
Well, and the great thing is if you're Courtney Morgan, you can live on Lake Tuscaloosa and you can be 20 minutes away and it's no traffic.
No
Now,
traffic,
the
and you
difference
got a
is
great house.
In L.A., you could live 3 miles away. It could take you an hour to get to work every day.
And you're paying for that
property
house.
taxes in Los Angeles. I can't even imagine what they are right now.
Yeah. So that's a
And plus of all, it's a shithole.
pretty cool run there.
I mean, is that an easy way to sell it?
Well, I mean,
you want to live in a shithole or you want to live in a nice town?
If I'm Lincoln Riley trying to hire a coach, I don't want you like on the other side there.
So now back to your point, our CPAP Plus point of the segment here. Can Kalen DeBoer be a better in-game coach than Nick Saban? Tell us about CPAP Plus and then explain to me what you're asking.
Yeah,
here.
absolutely. Our friends at CPAP Plus, I saw Ush up here. Was it yesterday or the day before?
I know this. He looks younger and refreshed.
He does. He looks like he's been sleeping a steady 8 to 9 hours every night peacefully. It's what you get with our friends at CPAP Plus. Don't buy your mask and supplies from Amazon or online. Go see the folks at CPAP Plus. See what you're actually buying. Visit any of their 3 locations. Pelham, Highway 280, now open and trustful for a free CPAP checkup. Free filters, no appointment needed. They carry the best equipment from names like ResMed, React, Fisher Paykel with mask and supplies in stock. Every day, do you need it today? Guess what? They've got it today. They also have CPAP travel machines in stock right now. With over 200 5-star reviews on Google, the folks at CPAP Plus are CPAP users themselves, so the people helping you know what it's like and are ready to help. Just Google CPAP Plus or stop into one of those 3 convenient locations and make sure you tell them the guys from the Next Round sent you. Okay, here's what I mean. I thought DeBoer was by far the best option. You guys know that. Greg Byrne ends up going out and hiring him. I think Alabama fans were a little skittish based on geography. Can he really come in here and recruit? The guy is 104-12. He's got multiple championships. His 2 years in the Power 5, 11-2, 14-1. I am just saying the one knock on Nick Saban, and nobody will ever be able to replicate what Nick Saban did.
No.
He is the greatest when you put one coach that could do everything from delegation to coaching to recruiting, everything. He is the best. All I am asking in game for those 60 minutes, is it possible that Kalen DeBoer is a better in-game coach?
So before people laugh at Lance on this, I used to hear opposing fan bases say this of Nick Saban. He's not the best X's and O's coach. He just beats you with his personnel and his preparation. I don't I'm not smart enough to look at that and say, here's where Saban's deficient in X's and O's. Alabama seemed pretty good when he was there. So I assumed he got most of the X's and O's right. But no, I mean, I heard opposing fan bases, primarily Auburn fans. Let's just say it for what it is.
I'm not going to try to argue with you that his strongest strength was recognizing talent, organizational. You heard Tom Luginbill said yesterday, he put together in college a system to recognize and recruit talent that everyone else tries to duplicate. So his ability to watch tape, to hire people who could watch tape and pick out talent was by far his biggest strength. But the day he was hired, I remember exactly what I said about him. He's a recruiter and a developer, that when those kids got on campus, they got better and better and better. But I don't think we give him enough credit. And I think because he was a true head coach and let his coordinators call offensive plays and let Kirby call defensive plays, but I don't think we give him enough credit for an X's and O defensive scheme guy that he was in the NFL when he was with Bill Belichick. He became a head coach, and I think during the week he was a very, very good X's and O coach. Just on Saturdays, he sits back and he lets the coordinators, with his input, call the plays.
So I was watching.
I think it drops.
Okay, I was
drops
watching
that image of him being a great X's and O coach down because Kalen DeBoer still has the image he's calling plays.
So I'm watching him with Matt Eberflus last night, the head coach for Chicago, on Hard Knocks. I had not seen the first episode.
Yep.
And watching Saban talk, he's really fascinating. He is a CEO. And it's almost like he gets, and I guess you're supposed to get like this before you completely lose your mind when you get old, is you get more wisdom.
Yep.
But he seems sharper and sharper, and the things he says, it makes too much sense on so many levels. So this guy knows how to run a program better than anyone.
Yeah, his big fascination in life, other than military history books, was psychology.
Well, that's where I think he was the best. I think Barrett Jones has told us before that the highlight of his time at Alabama were the night before talks that Nick Saban would give to the team. He was like, they were always just so on point, so fascinating, and we would leave the meeting room just completely locked in. Like there was nothing that was going to divert our attention from the game. And that was the night before the game. I think he was a master psychologist. I personally... He recruited well. I thought he did everything well, frankly, but I thought psychology was the best thing he ever did.
So have you guys seen the Hard Knocks?
I have not. I didn't even know he was on there.
I saw the first episode that was part of it, where he's talking about.
I didn't realize that Eberflus played for him at Toledo and was number 90 and looks like it was almost a joke. He looked like Jared Lorenzen running around playing linebacker.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize the connection there. But watching him come in and talk about, and really the conversation started because of Caleb Williams and how you don't want to basically destroy the psyche of a young quarterback quickly, and there were reasons around that. But all I would say, and I said this from day one, you guys will give me Kalen DeBoer did not have the talent on the West Coast that he has now.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
And so for him to be able to be in the situation he was with Washington, I think a lot of that is in-game coaching. And again, I don't want to take anything away from Saban. He is by far the best to ever do it. I'm just saying if you went from every asset, Saban altogether collectively gets an A+. But I'm just wondering if you go in-game to in-game, how close really is it?
Yeah, like Jim likes to say IROC, which was the racing series with equally prepared cars.
Old reference, but you take the best Indy drivers, NASCAR drivers, F1 drivers, put them in the same exact car, prepared by different people with the racing organization. They try to get all 9, 10 cars exactly alike.
And they would race different style tracks. And the idea was we'll identify who is the actual best driver because nobody's got an equipment advantage. Nobody's got a track advantage. And it might be Earnhardt or it might be Emerson Fittipaldi or whoever, but that's the best driver. I don't know if you could go IROC of football teams, where crowd doesn't matter, rosters are equal, there are no injuries. Who would be the best coach of football? I don't think we have any idea of that.
But in the NFL or college, I think the NFL is closer to that. I think those teams are closer, almost identical.
It
but
depends on what quarterback is.
But they can't be identical. And I would always say this: why would you want that? Because if you're a college, why is it a knock that this guy's doing it with more talent or this guy's doing it with less
that's
talent?
Part of coaching,
part
by
of
the
the
way.
job is most talent.
That's right. It's recruiting is a major part of coaching.
No, the whole reason I bring this up is, listening to Feinbaum this morning say the dynasty was even dead when Saban was there. Let's not forget it came down to a final play against a team that went 15-0.
No, in overtime.
So, I think Paul, obviously Paul's Paul, but he said it's definitely dead with DeBoer there. And my whole point is, watching DeBoer over these last couple of years at Washington and what he's doing recruiting-wise, I just don't really see a major fall-off at all.
Brandon Marcello in the next segment. That was a big thought to squeeze into 15 minutes there, but hopefully we covered it enough there for you. If not, we'll come back on the other side. Dr. B bringing you this part of the show, and then we'll get to the big Brandon, a big announcement with Brandon coming up. He teased it on Twitter last night. I can't wait to hear what he's got happening coming up. Dr. B always has your hair growing and happening.
Yeah, again, did the non-invasive treatment, 30 minutes each time, 3 times a week on the couch. My hair has more than doubled in thickness. Dr. B offers Sensus Transdermal Infuser. This enables Dr. B to get various medicines and therapies into the scalp where the hair follicles are without using any injections. This is revolutionary, as Dr. B can pinpoint delivery of a patient's genetically specific products without any needles. Call Dr. B and that great staff. Schedule a consultation today, 205-319-0316, 205-319-0316, or t3hair.net.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at scottforestertv.
There is no better place to watch your favorite sporting events and enjoy great food than one of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons. The TVs are everywhere with your favorite sports, and the menu is second to none. From the great appetizers like the waffle cheese fries to the Avery Island salad, handhelds like the all-new chicken bomber, bistro specialties with a special taste of the Bayou, the amazing hand-patty burgers, the great po' boys, and the specialty drinks. Visit any of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons: Greystone, Stadium Trace and Hoover, and the brand new location in Trussville.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you, 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
Maybe you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, or TikTok. While we're changing the game yet again, Tyler's Telegrams has been developed exclusively for you.
Hi, this is the lovable boy you know as Tyler the Intern. I'm a businessman now. I will come directly to your door and tell you every time a new piece of TNR content drops. For the low, low price of $740,000, you can be notified by me, one of the biggest stars of the next round, about that thing you missed. Sure, the rest of those social media services are free, but so is radio, and we all know how well that's trending.
Tyler's Telegrams is currently operating exclusively in Bibb County. Other social media platforms are available everywhere.
Excitement awaits at Barber Motorsports Park for the Fanatec GT World Challenge America, September 6th through the 8th. It's a high-octane weekend you won't want to miss. Witness some of the most iconic sports cars like Lamborghini, McLaren, Porsche, and Ferrari battling it out on the track. Enjoy the beer gardens, kids zone, and don't forget to bring your dog for bark at the park on Saturday. The Fanatec GT World Challenge America, September 6th through the 8th. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets today.
All right, bold prediction Friday from the Floribama. Second year in a row we've done it from the Floribama, 9 to 12. Across the street from the Floribama, we'll be at the sports bar there. Come on by and see us. But if you can't get to the Floribama on the state line, then tune in. Send us via email at Next Round Live. You can go Jim at Next Round Live, or you can jump on Twitter at Next Round Live and send in your bold predictions. Or you can call in the show on Friday. But we'll
many ways to do it.
We'll kick back and do our bowl prediction show. We do it every year. Guaranteed Friday, 3 bowl picks coming up this Friday from down on the coast.
All right, I'm going to start Brandon Marcello with a difficult question. He is a very smart guy, so I think he can handle this.
That's what I love about y'all's relationship.
Fix his microphone.
Yeah. 24/7 Sports and CBS. B Marcello on Twitter is where you follow him. What's up, Brandon? How are you?
I'm doing well. I shaved right before I came on.
Uh-oh.
I nicked myself.
Wow. Uh-oh.
Hey,
I'm not very smart.
Not that you want a signature look, but you could do every interview with that leather helmet on without even saying anything when you just come on across the country.
See if anybody notices.
Yeah, just see how many people point it out.
Well, when they do, I act like there's nothing there. I just keep talking.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Just got back from the post office.
Yeah, we just stumbled into this conversation earlier. Lance brought something up about Kalen DeBoer. All right, so you may chuckle at this, but rival fan bases used to say of Nick Saban, he's not the best X's and O's coach, but he blah, 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 blah. Like, he's not the best X's and O's coach. And as I pointed out, I thought Alabama was pretty good when Saban was there. So we were discussing, could Kalen DeBoer maybe be a better X's and O's coach? I'll ask you, the old IROC racing series that had the equally prepared cars, we bring that up often as a reference. If we had equally prepared teams, who do you think would be among the coaches that would be considered the best X's and O's coaches in college football?
Wow. What a question.
Yeah, I told you I'd start you with a tough one.
Good morning, Brandon.
I'll say this. If it's a tight game in the fourth quarter, I'd go with Nick Saban over anybody. The argument can be made that Saban was just a guy that went out and really just got really great talent and then kept them there on campus, and then 2 to 3 years later really developed those guys into everything you'd want in an NFL guy. But when it comes to coaching in game, I wouldn't say Saban was someone that you would necessarily fear for all 4 quarters. But when it came down to crunch time, he hit the right buttons a lot of the time, most times, except for, the kick 6 and some other situations. But, Kalen DeBoer, as great as he's been in his career, and I'm not downplaying anything he's done, it's just that, he's got like a 90% winning percentage, but he hasn't coached on a major conference level. The conference that he just won folded. It's dead. Yes, he went to the playoff. Yes, he went to the national championship game. But, I need to see what he does week to week in a big-time conference where you're going against the best talent-wise and the best coaching-wise. Having said that, Kalen DeBoer has done everything right so far at Alabama. He is absolutely killing it in recruiting, and I thought a lot of us thought he would struggle a little bit. Brian Harsin, he is not, Bama fans, and I'm with you. DeBoer is one of the better X's and O's guys in game right now, especially with the offense, obviously. But how does that progress week over week when there maybe are some more challenges there that he's got to overcome? Well, we'll see. It's way too early to say that, but when we talk about in-game stuff, I'll go with Saban every time. I will.
I would just say this, though, Brandon. When you do top 10 coaching list, most of those find James Franklin and Lane Kiffin on it. James Franklin has 3 top 10 wins in his entire career. Yeah. Lane Kiffin has 2. And Kalen DeBoer in 2 years in the Power 5 already has 3. So he's already got as many as Franklin and more than Lane Kiffin. I'm just saying, and the whole reason I brought this up was Kalen DeBoer is taking over an elite program with better talent that he had in Washington. So my whole thing is just the sky's the limit with this guy.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I think he's probably the best hire Alabama could have made, regardless of year over the last 5 years, considering all the candidates that could have been available during that time period. Kalen, I think some of the quote-unquote bad rap on him is it's like, well, all he's done is win with Michael Penix, whether it was at Indiana, then at Washington. But he's more than that. He's a developer. You see what he did at Indiana and what he did with Penix year over year, and what he did at Washington. There's that connection there. Now, in this new transfer portal era, I think DeBoer's a guy that'll be much more successful by bringing high school talent in and developing them than he will be from getting a transfer to come in at quarterback, and then all of a sudden that's the difference that gets them to a national championship game. He's a type of guy that's going to develop players, and that's how he's going to win. And we'll see if he can do that at Bama. I think he can. I think he's going to end up winning a national title here in the next few years. Maybe not this year, but, a little bit too early, I think, for me to say he's a better game day coach than Nick Saban.
All right, listen, your answer doesn't have to be short here because we'll move on to other topics, but I'm finishing up the 9th season of Suits right now, so I'm in a legal frame of mind. So I'm going to permission to treat you hostile here with a short answer. Media people, fans in general, we are more impressed by X's and O's on the offensive side than we are the defensive side. So I think that the Nick Sabans of the world don't get as much credit as the Kalen DeBoers and the Sarks and the Lane Kiffins of the world because we're wowed by offense and we're not smart enough to understand the defense. Fair or not fair?
Oh, that's absolutely fair. I think it's because a lot of media, and probably even including myself, we're just so smooth-brained when it comes to actual X's and O's and understanding it that we just fall in love with offense because it's more exciting.
Yep.
There's one guy with the ball in his hand the entire time, and we're just trained to watch that guy. Defensively, the cameras on TV, they're not focusing on the back end and what's going on at linebacker and stuff before the snap. Everybody's eyes are naturally trained to look at the offense. So, yeah, very much the reason why a lot of us lean toward the offensive coaches and even the administrators hiring offensive coordinators to be head coaches is because of that. We're smooth-brained in that opportunity to kind of understand football. I've tried to learn things defensively and even offensively by talking to coaches on and off the record about things, but it's just that monkey brain of ours. We're like, oh, look, bright light. I'm gonna look at that. That's the football the quarterback's saying.
Got 6 points. Yeah, yeah. I would not that I'm looking for a place to build a Saban library right now, in his history. But one more thing is, if you think Kirby Smart's a good X's and O coach, who taught him? Nick Saban taught Kirby Smart from basically the cradle to him being the greatest coach in college football right now. So I rest my Nick Saban defense there.
and by the way, for the record, Nick Saban is the greatest to ever do it. All I am saying is there a possibility that in-game Kalen DeBoer could be a better coach. That's all I'm asking. All right. That's all I'm asking.
Brandon Marcello is with us.
Has stumbled into a debate.
I know, 24/7 Sports.
The People's Court.
At CBS, at B. Marcello coming up soon, an announcement from Brandon. and us. He is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. You will be spending the first Thursday night of the college football season in lovely Boulder, Colorado.
Whoa.
The storyline coming out of that game will be what, in your opinion?
Easy win. Listen, North Dakota State they're not what they have been. I mean, they came off 3 or 4 losses last year. They're going to look electric offensively. Defensively, they're going to look better. I think a lot of people are going to be writing a lot out of that game about this Colorado team certainly does look different, don't they? To me, that's not necessarily what needs to be talked about. Is Colorado ready to go on the road week 2 and play a night game at Nebraska? Where Nebraska, if you look at their schedule and the expectations the fans have there this year, they're expecting to start 6-1 or 7-0 at Nebraska this year. And you look at the schedule, it is hard to discount that. Those Nebraska fans are going to be louder, hungrier, and so is that the players as well and the coaching staff than they have been in a decade. And Colorado is going into a bee's nest there in a little over a week and a half. So, yeah, they get to get their little pushover play game here. But to me, it's do they have the dogs capable of fighting off all that the next week at Nebraska? For a program where there's just so much talk around them, and they love to talk, and they love to chatter, and everything's bright, and everything's great, and glitzy, and glamorous, are they ready to go play in a mud bath there at Nebraska where they're just going to be coming after them left and right? Because that's a game that, to me, defines the season for Colorado and Nebraska. The loser of that game is going to be fighting probably for bowl eligibility all year. The winner of that game is bowl eligibility and beyond, and potentially exceeding their own expectations. That's a huge week 2 game that I think a lot of us will be talking about when it gets here, but I think right now we're not really keyed in on just how important that game really is to those two programs.
Sticking in the Big 12 with Colorado, is this conference the most unpredictable conference you've ever seen going into a season? Like, you can make an argument, 5, maybe even 6 teams could win this and get the automatic bid.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Outside of the MAC in previous years, yes, this is the most unpredictable, at least going in. On paper, I would say all but maybe like 3 or 4 teams have a legitimate argument to say this is why we should win a Big 12 championship this year. The only team I'm really down on is Cincinnati and maybe Houston. But I'm with you. This is going to be a conference where we're going to have the closest games, probably some of the most thrilling finishes. I'm interested to see kind of what becomes the identity of the Big 12 over these next 3 to 4 years as an offensive conference, as we've always kind of known that. Then it started transitioning a little bit more toward the defensive teams here of late, the last 2 or 3 years. Obviously, Texas won it recently, but we saw Kansas State, we saw Oklahoma State coming through a little bit. But for me, when we look at this year in the new realignment era, I could very well see a scenario where 3 of the Power 4 conferences all have champions, and those teams were not in that conference that previous year. Potentially Texas in the SEC, potentially, and I'm really going gung-ho on them, Oregon in the Big 10, and Utah in the Big 12. I find it very difficult for anybody to sit there and go, well, none of those teams have any shot at that. I think all 3 have very legitimate shots of winning those conferences, and one of them probably will. And they're going to piss off a lot of the old gray-haired people in those conferences who are accustomed to their big-time programs winning that conference, and none bigger than in the Big 10. Can you imagine the Ohio State and Michigan fans if Oregon comes in and wins that thing, especially with Ohio State just saying it's national championship or bust right now?
Our monitors, our 5 monitors in here are 70 inches. And when you said old gray hair, I saw your eyes cut at me, and I did not appreciate that.
He's got no hair.
I can't believe you have hair. I was going to say.
Well, what grows around the lower globe of my head is gray.
Thought you were going another route there.
I will tell you that last time we saw you in person, you were leaving the SEC media days to go to the Big 10 media days. it does seem like a foregone conclusion. It's either Oregon or Ohio State. Both are easily in the playoffs. There's all that stuff in the Big 12. There seems to be 3 or 4 teams in the ACC. There seems to be a ton of teams in the SEC. What's another storyline after Ohio State or Oregon in the Big 10? What's a talking point there? What's the intrigue there after you left Big 10 Media Days?
Is Penn State finally going to make the playoff in this new expanded field? Penn State obviously has been so close in the conversation the final 3 to 4 weeks of a season, never can come through. The offense has just been stale the last couple of years despite having the talent there to be more explosive. They made a great hire in the offseason with Andel Kotelnicki as the offensive coordinator previously at Kansas. So diverse in that offense, but also something that very much steers into James Franklin's thinking and philosophy offensively for what they want to do, but they're going to be a little bit more creative. Can Penn State finally break through there? They don't need to win the Big Ten. They don't have to beat Michigan and Ohio State, obviously the schedule the way it is, but they need to get into the playoff here this year or next year. Otherwise, we keep talking about Ryan Day maybe being on the hot seat, and that's an actual legitimate question, I think, from talking to people around the country about if he can't beat Michigan, also doesn't make the playoff, he might very well be on the hot seat if he does not do that with everything they did this offseason. Well, James Franklin, I think in a certain extent, you could say that over the next year or two. They have been so they have fallen short of expectations. They've been so close to getting there. They got to do it now these next 2 years. They got to get in that 12-team field now that it's expanded.
So, Brandon, all over the country during football season at all the biggest games. And starting on Labor Day, every Monday, Brandon is going to be right here with us. You know that Dunaway and Luganville are going to do Monday Morning Live every Monday morning starting at 7 Central. Then at 8 Central, Brandon joins me for the middle 8. Now, if you know anything about football, the middle 8, the last 4 minutes, the first half, first 4 minutes, the second half, most important part of the game. We also happen to be right in the middle of Monday Morning Live in the next round. I did not initially think of this, but after we came up with the name, I'm like, hey, we're at 8 o'clock too. So the middle 8, and Brandon's like, I thought that's why we came up with the name. It was 8 o'clock, yes. So Brandon, we're excited to start the show on Labor Day. We're going to have fun every Monday talking about what we just saw.
Yes, we are definitely going to be one of the 4.2 million podcasts in the world.
We're one of them, baby. We're one of them.
The middle 8.
I can't wait for it. I'm really looking forward to it. There's nothing more than I love to talk college football, but especially right after we just get off a weekend of games and we can kind of look ahead at everything on a Monday morning, the rankings coming out, all of that. Monday mornings, to me, even growing up, was one of the more exciting times because going to school or even going into work, when I was first getting in the workforce, everybody getting together and talking about what they saw that weekend on Saturday and where their team should be. It's one of my favorite kind of times to talk. So I'm really looking forward to this and tapping into that excitement.
Yeah, I will tell you that for those of you that watch us and consume us on video platforms, and sometimes you do it after work, on your way to work on Monday mornings, remember the audio app is a free download. We don't even take your information. You download it, boom, it just automatically starts playing. It works in CarPlay. So 7 a.m. Central, Luganville and me, then 8 a.m. Central with Brownie and Marcello. Audio stream into work. Watch us if you can. It'll be video and audio platforms, and maybe another announcement coming up at some point.
Yeah, that's not our last Monday announcement. We'll get to that. But the middle 8 starts on Labor Day, 8 a.m. Central Time with myself and Brandon Marcello. We look forward to it, Brandon. Have a great week.
All right, gentlemen. It's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Take care. Brandon with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. See him at CBS Sports and 24/7.
Another big Week 1 game line movement after LT tells us about Inverness Country Club.
Hey, find your sense of community at Inverness Country Club. Maybe you relocated or retired. Inverness is a great place to network. They've got memberships that fit everyone, from the social membership to the golf membership with a beautiful course. Currently expanding the driving range. Childcare, also a big plus. You and your wife want a day of golf or tennis. Guess what? You can drop the kid and go have yourself a day on the quarter course. Dinner with friends, knowing your kid is safe on site is a massive plus. Maybe you work from home. What about working from the club while they watch your kid? Whatever you're interests are, you can find it at Inverness. They even have a vineyard club. Take a tour of this unbelievable club today. Call Erin. Tell her the next round sent you. 205-991-8608. That's 205-991-8608 or online, iccalabama.com.
Jay says, wait, the Luganville and Dunaway show will stream live in the morning just like last year. We were live every morning, 7 a.m. You can jump in, watch that live, stream it live, listen to it, watch it however you can live, and then Brandon and Brown live right after that with the middle 8. So live programming, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 12, and then more to come on the Mondays, including the coaches' news conferences and maybe a little bit more coming up. Line movement.
All right.
And this one continues to percolate. It was -2.5. It is now -3.
A&M.
Texas A&M.
Notre Dame is
That's
now
wild.
Notre Dame is now a 3-point underdog, a full 3 points on the road in College Station.
As I remember it, at points this summer, that was either an actual pick'em or a virtual pick'em, and it is now up to Texas A&M favorite 3.
Notre Dame's never been the favorite.
I've been spitting this out too much. I'm giving people easy money with Texas A&M.
But are you starting to feel
I
the
said
other
it
way
again
now?
last night, talking to our friend Ian. No. I like A&M.
Where does we ask this of Furman all the time?
If it gets over 3, and obviously you could buy this either way. I mean, 3.5 for Notre Dame, who looks like a solid top 10 team. That seems like value. I mean, I wanted to get this thing under 3. If it gets out above 3, I don't know if I'll even play it.
So now at 3 is sort of the ceiling for you. It's going to still. You're not saying it's not going to be a great close game,
right? But I'm also not saying that A&M doesn't win the game by 14.
Yeah.
But I just don't feel as good if I've got to lay 3.5.
Yeah.
Under 3, I felt like it was a lot of value.
But we're still a few days away.
Right.
Your gut is Notre Dame does not win this game.
No.
If you're just going money line, you do not think Notre Dame wins this game.
So, again, we're going back to the IROC. Mike Elko last year at Duke against Notre Dame. They should have beat Notre Dame. Now you give Mike Elko, who is a defensive wizard, he is going against his former quarterback, and I like Riley Leonard, but he's got some limitations. So Mike Elko is going to get exotic on this guy, his former quarterback. I think they're going to throw a lot of wrinkles. Crowd's going to be behind it. It's just going to be one of those atmospheres, and everybody's going to say Notre Dame is dead. Notre Dame can still absorb one more loss and get into a college football playoff. I don't think they can absorb 2, though.
Yeah, get exotic on that guy.
Right.
If Lunceford wasn't under the weather today, I'd say we could need that T-shirt.
Get exotic.
Yeah, in the old next round store there.
I kind of like that one.
That might be an HR violation.
Well, we have
Get
X's and O's going in different directions. Get
Well, you've
exotic
got
on
an
that
X
guy.
and an O in exotic, so yeah.
Oh, that's
just
right.
play off
Yes,
that.
yeah, that's
let's
a good
do
T-shirt.
that.
All right.
Let's do that.
Real
Somebody
quick, Bam
design
and
that.
Bourbon will be back next Monday.
Yeah, you were asked when that's going to start. So next Monday is the start of Bam
next
and Bourbon?
Monday. Me and
Okay.
I know Suttles is going to be out of town, but he's coming back. He's going to be back in time for it. So we'll do that at some point Monday. I think we've got a lot going on Monday, but I think we can.
We'll figure it out.
The week after week 0 of week 1 game week, the first Bama and Bourbon.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's another part of that you're familiar with during football season coming back. Bama and Bourbon back starting Monday with Suttles and LT there. All right. LT is going to tell us about HydroLive. We'll get back to more college football, guest-free the rest of the way, but a ton of content continuing to percolate and bubble up over at thebarnauburn.com, where they've got some scoop on practice yesterday. Kyle and the guys over there, go for $1, try it out, see if you like it. A lot of rave reviews over there, thebarnauburn.com, and also covercrimson.com. Reaction to the elite running back, Keelan Deere, making his commitment, and some intel on what's coming out of practices there. And don't forget, All Tied Up, new episode of that with Chris Marlar and Clint Lamb. That is up for you as well. CoverCrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. All brought to you in part today by our friends at HydroLive.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, all under one roof. Very important when you get into one of those locations. Mention the next round, 20% off any of their great services. HydroLive Therapy, open 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. 2 locations here in Birmingham, Homewood, Highway 119 in Greystone. Also a Tuscaloosa location. For more information, hydrolifetherapy.com. Also ask about the memberships. Members rewarded with deep discounts. Save up to 50% off regular pricing for all services, plus receive 1 free IV bag per month. You basically recoup the IV membership fee in just 1 visit. Again, for more information, hydrolifetherapy.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
I'm here with my good friend Jon Lunceford of Lunceford Furniture to tell you about special values on some super comfortable seating. What you got, John?
Lance, every year we stock up on great comfort items like Lazy Boy recliners and sofas so that our customers can be ready for fall and football. This year is no different. We've made special purchases that will deliver great value to Next Round listeners and give them the most comfortable seat in the house. And as always, we've got the best prices in the state on Lazy Boy and the best selection anywhere.
That's awesome. We all know from years of shopping with you guys that Lunceford Furniture is the home for Lazy Boy value.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them The Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at The Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
All right, before we get to our Michelson Laser Vision, our look ahead today, thanks to our friends at Michelson, it's a basketball season because the SEC released the conference basketball schedule yesterday. Let's do Alabama's first, Forrester. Here's the release. For Alabama, just in passing, couple observations. They get Kentucky twice, so home and home. Obviously, they get Auburn twice. They also get Florida. They're on the road at Arkansas, and they also get on the road at Texas. They have a Florida game in there as well at home. But the home and home with Kentucky, the Arkansas game is on the road. Tough schedule for Alabama. Alabama's going to be elite. Tough schedule. Auburn schedule, they get, of course, Alabama twice. Just Kentucky once. That's on the road at Lexington. That's a tough one. But they get Arkansas at home, and they get Florida at home, and they get Tennessee at home. I forgot to mention Tennessee and Alabama's on the road too. So, I think Tennessee's always good. Florida's going to be good again. Arkansas's got Cal. He's going to be good. Ole Miss is a home and home with Auburn. They get them twice. And a home and home with Alabama. Both of those teams are elite this year. Both of those have difficult parts of their schedule. But I like the way Auburn's schedule lays out for them. I like their schedule.
Because they get Tennessee at home, because they get Alabama at home in that final game.
And they get Arkansas at home.
They get Arkansas at home,
yeah. I mean,
they went up and beat Arkansas by 30 last year up there.
That wasn't John Calipari's Arkansas team, was it?
It was not.
I like Auburn's schedule. I like Auburn's schedule a lot. Maybe that last game, last weekend, Auburn hosting Alabama, could be for the regular season SEC championship.
It may or may not be, but I think the SEC probably thinks it'll be a significant game, right? Either in seeding and NCAA tournament seeding, maybe for the SEC regular season. I mean, you put that game right there at the end of the schedule.
Yeah.
Feels kind of like the SEC, Lance, is setting up a rivalry game that could also have some meaning.
Good, yeah.
I mean, it's so hard to project right now.
February 15th, Auburn on the road at Alabama.
Okay.
Where does that fall on? Is that a Saturday?
That would be a Wednesday or Tuesday. I'll double check. It's a midweek.
Yeah. Blake said big news is home game with Auburn is finally on a Saturday instead of a weekday.
No, that
game.
is a Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, so Alabama finally gets that game on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And I assume March 8th. So both Alabama and Auburn games are Saturday games.
How about that? Now that is a change.
Yeah.
That is a change.
Because if I was, say, occasionally on a covercrimson.com message board,
right,
there's always a belief that Auburn always gets the home Alabama-Auburn game on a Saturday,
right,
and then Alabama's
they get the midweek
home games midweek.
Yeah.
Now both of them are getting the old Duke, North Carolina treatment, getting Saturday games and end of the year. So that's pretty cool where we are in basketball right now. Michelson with our look ahead right there.
205-969-8100. That is the number you need to call. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation, 0 to lose, to find out if LASIK is right for you. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. After the procedure, I've still got 20/15 vision. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. Make the phone call today. Ask about the pre-inflation pricing, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Nobody's been a bigger, in the last 10 years, and these trends and angles go out in gambling now because Nick Saban's not there anymore. You just can't look at Nick Saban's time in Tuscaloosa and really play forward to Alabama anything. But in the last 10 years, Alabama's been a betting favorite more than anybody else in college football.
No shot.
Yeah. And they covered 54.5% of the time.
And that's strong.
That is strong.
Yeah, that's a strong number. I've said that about Nick Saban. Not only were a lot of these numbers inflated because of the Alabama brand, but Nick Saban, year in, year out, was traditionally pretty good against a number.
Tom Fornelli put together a betting guide at CBS Sports using the last 10 years, 2014 through 2023, so 10 seasons. These are amazing numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As betting favorites, 5 teams covered 60% of the time or more. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, LT, sometimes you find value in not the biggest games on the sheet, right?
Oh, yeah. Right? Like I get so excited when I'll find like a game in the American.
It's funny you should say that.
Yeah.
The team that has the best cover percentage as a favorite in the last decade is Tulane. As a favorite, they have covered 65.6% of the time.
And you go decade, that's multiple coaching staffs.
That's right.
I mean, that's not just like they had one coach that knew how to do it.
Look, and this is a defense last year at Tulane that was really good. Man, people don't talk about the defense because of Michael Pratt, but now John Summerall takes over. Do you guys remember the name Ty Thompson?
I do.
Yeah.
He was at Oregon, right?
Yeah, he is your starting quarterback at Tulane.
How about that?
That's a former five-star guy. So I'm just saying John Summerall making the transition – from Troy to now Tulane. I don't know how much of a drop-off you're going to get from Willie Fritz.
62.2% of the time as a betting favorite, covering as the betting favorite, Syracuse. Rutgers at 61.3% last 10 years as the betting favorite covering.
Now, remember this real quick, though. Syracuse and Rutgers haven't been favored a lot.
I was about to say they might be favored like 3 times a year.
But then here comes a power team, fourth best. They cover 60.2% of the time when they're the betting favorite, Penn State.
So when Penn State's favored,
they're usually underdog against Ohio State and Michigan.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I guess those top 10 teams they never beat.
Yeah, like they can't beat the top 10s, but he wins the games he's supposed to win.
Yeah. I mean, I bet he hasn't been favored over Michigan or Ohio State his time there, maybe.
Don't put it past James Franklin to try to have impressive wins. I mean, one of the things your fan base is going to love if you're covering numbers, because your fan base isn't going to bet against you, so you lose those top 10 games, but the other games you win 9 or 10 games every year, and you're covering a good percentage.
So
good way to keep them happy.
Temple and UAB were the next two, 5 and 6. UAB, when they're the betting favorite, has covered the last 10 years, most of that Bill Clark, 58.2% of the time.
I think we've looked at this with Penn State. I'm certain we have, in fact. But against Ohio State, they're going to be a dog, even in Beaver Stadium. They'll be a dog against Ohio State. At USC?
They'll be favored.
They'll be favored. At Wisconsin?
They will be a dog. I don't know. We got to see what Wisconsin
Pretty
looks
tight.
like. Yeah.
So they met.
And the same with USC. I've got to see. Like, they could be dogs in both of those games or favored.
At Purdue, at Minnesota, they're not dogs in either one of those.
No, they're favored both.
So Penn State, to your number right there, they're probably only going to be an underdog once or twice this whole season.
And in gambling terms, if I get a 60% advantage, that's usually pretty good.
Oh.
Right? Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
As underdogs, and there's one name on here that's going to jump out, but as underdogs in the last 10 years, Air Force has covered 64.5% of the time.
Oh, Flyboy?
Baylor has covered 63.3% of the time as underdogs. Oklahoma State, when they are underdogs, they have covered a flat 63% of the time. Mike Gundy, when he's an underdog, has covered 63% of the time. Not necessarily win it outright, but at least covered, made it closer.
Well, they're not going to be dogs a lot this year. I mean, you look at Oklahoma State week 2, they've got Arkansas coming in. They're going to be favored in that game. I mean, Oklahoma's a preseason top 20 team at 17 right now. They won't be underdogs until they go to Manhattan. Yeah, they'll be a slight favorite against Utah.
Are they a dog the rest of the year after K-State? They're at BYU, at Baylor, at TCU, at Colorado.
Nope.
I don't think they're a dog in any of those. Mm-hmm. So you only get one shot at this one, maybe.
They're going to be favored in 10 or 11 games this year.
Yeah, so it's interesting. You see the whole story and all the numbers there. Tom Fornelli, CBSSports.com. I think it came out about August 14th. I've been saving it. Hadn't had a chance to work into the show until right there. So, too, is our friends at New York Butcher Shop. I still got a gift card from Christmas, $250 to the New York Butcher Shop.
What you waiting on?
You can go by there and buy a gift card, give the gift of New York Butcher Shop to somebody.
By the way, as we go into New York Butcher Shop, if you could tell me, because I asked Marcello, is the Big 12 the most unpredictable conference in a long time? If you could tell me a starting quarterback that is going to be healthy for 12 games, I could tell you who's going to win that conference.
Ooh, interesting.
Because Jalen Daniels just got named starter, played in 3 games last year. Avery Johnson, the way he runs the football, he hasn't started a full season yet. Alan Bowman is a guy that is never healthy. Cam Rising,
never healthy.
I don't know who's going to be healthy.
Yeah.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop, pick up the finest and certified Angus prime beef steaks, burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, all natural chicken cut to order just for you. Chef prepared entree side dishes, perfect dinner to go choice for you and your family, ready to heat at home with a great selection of fine wines and desserts. New York Butcher Shop, one-stop dinner shop, 2 locations, Highway 119 in Greystone, also Cahaba Heights. New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well done service.
Never miss anything Auburn. Watch Village Vice at Wardam Pods on YouTube and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, you. School's coming back. Time to gear up. And at New Balance Birmingham, we know what's up. Before hitting the books, check out the looks. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Okay, LT just hit some Jalen Daniels quarterback news out of Kansas. Our Storm Restoration Roofing, who's going to be trying to take the top off the roof of defenses this year. QB1 announcements. Jalen Daniels is QB1 at Kansas. At SMU, I told you earlier, Preston Stone is QB1. Remember Jake Garcia at Miami?
I don't. Barely.
No. Yeah. He is QB1 at East Carolina. By the way, every portal transfer is not always to a better place.
No.
He is QB1 at East Carolina.
You think Coral Gables and Greenville, South Carolina look differently?
North Carolina, I want to remind everybody, before Gardner Minshew was a name, he was your starting quarterback at East Carolina.
Okay. That's right. By the way, Tate Rodemaker, who threw for 500 yards in the win over Florida at Florida State, helping Florida State stay unbeaten in the rivalry game. He hit the portal. He is the starting quarterback for Southern Mississippi.
Wow.
Or as Mississippi Southern, as they used to call it.
Yeah, that's what my dad called it.
That's where Tate is now. And at South Carolina yesterday, right after the show was over with, Robbie Ashford was battling until the end, but they're going to go with 6'3", 242-pound Lenoris Sellers as the quarterback at South Carolina.
I think I think much like at Auburn, you'll still see some Robbie Ashford. Don't you think?
Yeah, probably some packages.
Yeah.
Goal line Robbie?
That's one of those teams I have no idea.
Me too.
I assume South Carolina is not going to be good, but
who knows?
Yeah. But 6'3", 242, that's a little chunky for 6'3", right?
It's a big kid, yeah. 242. Could be all muscle.
Yeah. He's wearing the Husky jeans.
I watched the McNair documentary, and Maddie was asking me, how big was he when he was playing? I said, I think he was 6'2", 230.
Yeah. He looked thick.
But you think 6'3", 242 is bigger than what Steve McNair looked on the field?
Oh, yeah. I think McNair was 230. McNair was a good-looking 230.
I thought he was bigger than that.
McNair, no. Yeah, I think he was a bit like a linebacker. A smaller linebacker, 230. Yeah. I would say he's 230.
That documentary.
6'2", 230.
You nailed it, yeah. That documentary...
I know you didn't like it.
What'd you grade it, Jim?
I gave it a D+.
Yeah, I would give it a C+. And if I had never seen it, I probably would have given it a solid B. Okay. I just kind of knew the ins and outs because I had listened to a podcast about it way back in the day. All I know is the girl that got blamed for the murder-suicide, I don't believe it.
You don't?
No, do you? There is no way a 20-year-old is going to unload a clip on a boyfriend like that. And especially with her background, with her boyfriend.
Well, I hate to ruin it for anyone. Maybe you can do this without ruining it, but what are some of the plausible theories?
Well, no, it got ruled a murder-suicide.
Well, I know
So
that.
that's
It
how
was,
they
it
closed
was
the
a
book on that.
crime of passion.
Well, according to the documentary, a business associate and then a sketchy guy who actually allegedly gave the gun to her, and who else?
So
would have been a
So
suspect.
it would have been one of the two. It would have been his friend that they got in a financial dispute.
So it was
days
monetary.
before.
Yeah.
And then the girlfriend was dating a guy that supposedly sold her the gun, but didn't know the name of the girl. But he had been involved in a relationship with her for months and months.
So
and
they
months.
sold it as a crime of passion, basically.
Yeah.
Yes,
And then there
on
was her
her.
boyfriend too. He was under question.
Yeah,
too.
I don't. He doesn't look like a killer to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
He looked like a copper thief.
I think the former felon that actually sold the gun to the girl.
So is this like?
And the first time they interviewed him, he said, "I don't really know," but that's her when they showed him a picture. But I don't know her name. Showed her a picture. Yeah. Turns out 230 texts or something like that.
Some of these,
her.
Hey, some of the worst police work ever, and I heard this on the podcast too.
Yeah.
But there is one individual that used to be with the Nashville Police Department who has basically made a side living off of doing books on this and podcasts, and he really dogs out the investigation. And
But he's got books on it. So
I get that, but I mean,
that sort of hurts his credibility that he's went and made so much money off of this.
But it was fact that they sat down with that dude for 7 minutes with his fiance present without questioning him away. I mean, it's worth the watch to me.
And then turns out they didn't know when they were interviewing him, Brown, that he was a convicted felon and had armed charges and everything.
They didn't know that?
No.
They literally have access to those files.
Yeah, did not.
Yeah.
How do you not know that?
That'd be like E.G. going on campus to interview a football player that she'd set up the interview and not know what position he's playing.
So the gun was registered to this guy. That's how they get the serial number of the gun.
Right.
They find out who it's registered to, so they go talk to him. Like from that point of figuring out who it is to go talk to him, don't you get his priors?
Well, isn't that like step one? Like, hey, they're bringing in this Jim Dunaway guy for an interview. Let's pull his file.
Yeah.
I mean,
does he have a sheet?
Isn't that literally the first thing? Let's pull his file real quick if you don't mind.
And it's only 58 minutes, so I think it is.
It's worth it.
58 minutes.
Now there is a little too much Jeff Fisher in it.
Yeah, I thought
it's 8 and 8.
I thought his part was scripted, to be honest with you.
Oh, I did too.
Yeah.
The Lord's Prayer,
At the end.
choking up.
Yeah.
Well, he said the Lord's Prayer?
Hey, did you also notice that the cops were getting paid off by a guy early, and that storyline went away?
I mean, it's like he
So there's a guy. So just a little bit behind it.
like
Not
he
telling
put
too
money
much.
on the table and like, you don't have to do that, and he handed him something back.
So he had a townhome that was kind of his safe house.
That's right.
Downtown.
Yeah.
He was
Steve
catting
McNair
around.
did,
He
yeah.
had a
Yeah.
lot.
Oh, yeah. I remember this part
Yeah,
of it.
so the theory was the 20-year-old got upset when she found out that he was having relations with other women, and she came in a fit of passion, killed him, and then killed herself.
Doesn't
But
sound
there was a
believable.
guy that I guess was on the lease, and he's the guy that came in, and when police interviewed him, like his one comment is, I don't know how this works. I've got plenty of police friends, but he pulls out a bunch of cash, and he's like trying to pay them off.
Yeah. And this
Like,
is
why
in the
would he-
interview room on tape.
Yeah, why
And
would
he's
he
like,
pay
no,
him
no,
off?
no, you
And
don't
that
have
whole
to do
thing
that.
went away. Like they never even
Yeah.
brought it back up.
Anyway, let's move on with the story.
But it looked like, LT, to me, it's like the police, no, you don't have to do that. But then he slides him his card.
Here's how you get that to me later.
Yeah,
I'll be off at 9.
Once his camera's off,
That's right.
here's my card.
But,
You can call me later.
it does go through the transition of how Jeff Fisher got his start in coaching, and the transition of Buddy Ryan to Jeff Fisher, and Jeff Fisher making the decision to go from Chris Chandler to Steve McNair.
Yeah.
But I thought some of the old footage was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I can't believe they can't get to the bottom of this. Or I guess they
Or if they won't
figured
to.
they have.
Yeah.
And I've been trained by the national media to hear a really bad Southern accent and just think you're not the smartest investigator. You know, I'm a proud Southerner.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but
you're
I've
saying,
been trained by.
so this guy was like, well, they called us over here, and we
Yeah,
went
no,
in
he-
and
he
this.
was the
Well,
guy
that's
to do it.
Steve McNair.
Hey, Scott is right. It looked like he was because he was like, I do have a gun in my car. It's not registered.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what it was. He was
So,
trying to
I don't know how
pay
this
for his
works.
pistol
How
permit.
do I get a pistol permit?
You just pull out whatever you want right here.
See if you can find my permit in this stack of cash.
The hundies are to the right, the 20s are to the left.
Yeah, it's really a sad story, though. I mean, obviously. I mean, Steve McNair was only 36. This girl's 20 years old. And
It sounds to me, and I haven't watched the documentary yet, but I'm watching The Americans right now, and occasionally somebody just gets caught up in collateral damage. Like it sounds more like somebody was after Steve McNair. They stumble in while she's there, and she's just collateral damage. But now
I
we
would
can
say
make it
was
murder-suicide.
It was a argument between her and the dude with the gun, and he came over, and that's how it went down.
Yeah.
It's the way I would size it up.
Yeah. I gave it a D+.
I mean, if a girl's never pulled the trigger on a gun, do you think she's going to shoot the dude 4 times?
She nailed it, too, perfectly. Boom, boom, and then she didn't miss.
No, she missed 1 time.
Okay.
So there was one. There was a slug in the wall, one in the head, 2 in the chest, and then 1 to herself. It just seems like a lot for a girl that had never had a weapon before.
It was a heck of a Dave & Buster's commercial, though, because that seemed like the place to be in Nashville during that time.
Never a fan.
The waitress was, I've never been.
Yeah.
The waitress was from there. Everybody they interviewed seemed to be from Dave & Buster's. I mean, that was a big Dave & Buster's commercial.
Oh, the worst, though, was the ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm the biggest Titans fan in the world, and my girl starts banging Steve McNair. I can't pull for the Titans anymore. I mean, that
was his big
tough.
takeaway. I love the Titans, man. I miss a game, blah, 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 blah. Steve McNair was my favorite player, and then all of a sudden, Shazizi or whatever her name was.
I don't know if the Rams could, like, if Matt Stafford, I don't think the Rams could do anything to throw me off the scent.
And so if Matt Stafford started dating,
I would know he's a short timer, but Stafford's only got a year or 2 left. We're going to push through this.
Yeah, I'm going to hate Matt Stafford, but I'm still going to love the Rams. Hey, that was our Storm Restoration Roofing, taking the top off the defense, new starting quarterback segment brought to you by our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. Andrea and Greg, they own Storm Restoration Roofing. They are the owners, locally owned for over 20 years now. We love Greg from Pell City. You can look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City. Gives you a free no-cost roof inspection, fully guaranteed roof inspection there, no obligation. He'll give you some honest opinion. He'll work with the insurance providers with you to get the best result possible. He's trusted by those guys because he's worked with them for 20 years. Free no-cost roof inspection. He can handle storm repairs and roof replacements. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. Go check out Greg from Pell City. Call him up. This is his cell number. Get that free no-cost review on the roof, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. Brown.
Clint Lamb has just tweeted, at Clint R. Lamb, our guy with CoverCrimson.com, that he's got a quick nugget on the right tackle competition at Alabama. You can go get that at CoverCrimson.com.
I like nuggets.
CoverCrimson.com, just $1 to join right now. Great content from Clint and the guys over there, Stacy, Mick Gillespie, Chris Marler, all the people at CoverCrimson.com. But right now, a right tackle nugget up if you want to go get that. That's really the only position battle still going on at offensive line. I don't know if Clint's telling people the battle is over or just starting. You can go find out for yourself at CoverCrimson.com.
Hey, before we jump right back into I don't really know everybody's ages up here, but I saw a study
32
from the Katie Couric newsletter. They had, I think, 1,000 participants, and they've been studying them for 25 years.
All right, so 1,000 people we've studied for 25 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of these highfalutin northeastern medical schools. Your body goes through, at 2 different ages, molecules age rapidly during these 2 years of your life.
Okay, so you age faster in these 2 years?
These 2 years.
Okay.
Age 44 and age 60 is when your molecules have a dramatic change physically in your body. They have found out in this long-term study on aging in Americans.
Didn't get it at 44. Maybe we'll get it at 60.
44 and 60, your molecules change. 55 is the dividing age from when you're very different. People can say physically you always hear old people like me say, oh, all of a sudden this hurts and that hurts. 55 is sort of the dividing line when really your body changes the most.
Physically, my body has changed over the last 2 or 3 years, and I haven't hit that 55 mark. So
yeah, Matt says, "Damn, I'm 44. I can feel it already." Jim, thank you.
The old molecule deterioration at age 44.
Yeah, so just an interesting study there. All right, back to college football we go. Josh Pate on the show earlier this week. He was with us on Monday. You can go back and catch Josh Pate, Late Kick Josh. He asked the question last night on social media. October 12th is the biggest Saturday in college football. What is the next biggest one? I still say it's rivalry weekend.
I think it is.
But on October 12th, we have Ohio State and Oregon. We have Ole Miss and LSU, Penn State at USC. If Colorado's any good, Kansas State at Colorado, and, of course, Red River, Texas and Oklahoma. But rivalry weekend's going to always win this because you get Texas and Texas A&M, Auburn and Alabama, Notre Dame and USC, Ohio State and Michigan, Oklahoma LSU, which we continue to talk about. It's just going to be a dang good football game. Nebraska and Iowa could have some kind of an impact. But that October 12th is pretty big. I've seen buzz that on October 12th, Ohio State, Oregon is going to be prime time on NBC. I didn't think there was any way that would get away from Fox.
Well, the problem for Fox in this, Jim.
No, remember it got explained to us. Clyde came on the show and explained why they're not getting Oregon and
Ohio State and Oregon?
Ohio State.
I thought he said that was their number one pick.
It was. He said, like, from a broadcaster's perspective, it would definitely be the number one. It would probably be the number one pick for the entire season.
Oh, I remember this, yes.
Yeah.
We've got a little political issue going on, or situation, I should say.
It was Penn State and, hang on, I'll tell you which game it was.
Obviously, Pennsylvania.
Penn State USC that day.
Penn State, no, they went Penn State, Ohio State because Pennsylvania and Ohio
are huge swing states.
Are huge swing states in most elections.
Yeah.
And they were
Political
like,
ads.
yeah, Fox, we will make bank that weekend on political ads.
Yeah.
And we can promote our political coverage on a highly viewed Penn State, Ohio State game. So Lance is right. That's why they went first pick there. I remember now that Lance says that. Clat explained that to us.
Yeah.
And Clat was like, yeah, you guys are really smart. I would not have looked at it that way.
Ohio State, Oregon, it's going to be NBC prime time, 6:30, which will be the best non-Notre Dame game NBC's had for a long, long time in college football.
And not that anybody is going to get wound up about this, but it leaves a problem, Lance, for the big noon kickoff that day. Because Ohio State, Oregon's the biggest game of the Big Ten by far, biggest game in the country that day. Penn State, USC is the second biggest game of the Big Ten that day. Their only problem there is it's played in L.A.
Yeah, I would make the argument that Ole Miss LSU is a bigger game.
Well, but they can't do that one because ESPN has it.
Yeah.
So they're probably down now to Washington at Iowa for the big noon kick that day. Washington at Iowa. So Washington playing a 9 a.m. body clock game, and Iowa always is 9 a.m. body clock.
Yeah. And I just don't know how good Washington's going to be.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean,
but
again,
that's going to be their choice.
Jed Fish did a really good job at Arizona the last 2 years, but completely rebuilding that roster. We'll see how it goes. What is Missouri doing playing in Amherst, Massachusetts?
I have not figured that one out. They're at UMass. That had to be like a...
I wonder if somebody backed out of a game.
Well, but still, you think you would pay more for you? It doesn't make sense for UMass because they would make more money going to Missouri.
Yeah,
I mean, Missouri they're used to the SEC, coming off 11 wins. I mean, I can't imagine what. That's just a weird trip.
Remember, Alabama played at USF last year, and in return, they get 2 games.
That's right.
In Tuscaloosa. So maybe Missouri gets UMass for 2 or 3.
They might. Now, I would say, if you're Alabama, you're playing in a talent-rich state. That Nick Saban always believed that helped recruiting. That's why he would play those neutral site games. And you're playing in a professional football stadium.
Right.
To Lance's point, you're about to go play in Massachusetts. I will guarantee you Missouri never signs a kid from the state of Massachusetts as long as
I was going to say,
is
do
there.
you think even with the city of Boston, do you think there's a 5-star coming out?
I can't remember the last good player that's come out of the state of Massachusetts.
Aaron Hernandez?
Tyler, can you give me cut number 11 and then cut 10? Eli Drinkwitz talking yesterday. Now, remember, they have sold out of their season tickets. But if you're not familiar, if you sell out season tickets, that doesn't mean you sold all your tickets. Eli Drinkwitz, they opened the season against Missouri State on that opening Thursday night, 7 o'clock on the SEC network. Murray State and Missouri, Thursday night, 7 o'clock SEC network, a week from tomorrow. Eli Drinkwitz pleading with the Mizzou fans.
But our challenge is we need to sell out this first game. All right, we're a top 11 program in the country coming off a Cotton Bowl win, and in my opinion, if we don't sell out the first game, then that shows me that we're not where we want to be as a fan base yet. Okay, I mean that's just the reality of it. Don't sit on the sideline and wait. Well, it's got to be this game. No, it doesn't. Come watch this team and be excited about this team and embrace this team. And the same challenge that I have for our players is let's have a 1-0 mindset. Let's try to be a 1-0 team and be a 1-0 fan base. Don't get excited about the game in November after the bye week. Like, I don't know what that game's going to look like. I know this week next week versus Murray State's the most important game we have, and we need to sell it out. because we need to show the rest of the country that we're serious about our program.
Now, he
well,
says
I could see him in a toga with 2 Bud Ices, just double fisting.
Now, he says he wants to show the rest of the country. Their recruiting's been on an uptick because of NIL. They got their NIL and what they're able to offer in the state of Missouri to people. They got it dialed in. He wants to show players that you got big-time atmosphere here, and empty seats do not help you.
I do think Thursday night benefits them. Like, if I'm a Missouri fan, a student, like if that's a Saturday, first Saturday, and I've got Murray State coming in at an 11 o'clock game, I got no desire to get up and go to that game. But why not before you go out on a Thursday night? Thursday night is by far the biggest night on a college campus. Go catch a half. If you're a Missouri fan in the area, at least go catch a half. I think the crowd will be pretty good.
When you're at a conference, is Murray State, Buffalo, Boston College, and UMass. Yeah. I don't have a big appetite for you to get up complaining about season tickets not selling.
I know Murray State's in Kentucky, and I know Missouri's in Missouri. But were they scheduling? Did Penn State scheduler move down?
It's a bad schedule.
They play Buffalo, UMass, and who?
Buffalo, Murray State, Boston College, and at UMass.
So they play three New England teams.
Yes, absolutely.
If I'm a Murray State fan, this is the schedule I want, though. The out of conference, it looks horrible, but based on where they're ranked
talking Missouri,
now,
you mean Missouri fan?
If I'm a Missouri fan, I want that out of because this is my opportunity to get to a college football playoff.
Yeah. And those basically are four W's.
That's 4 wins right there. Now they've got to go 10-2 to get in.
Yeah.
But you start to look at the schedule now. I think at A&M is that's the game you serve.
But that's kind of my point that you're making, Lance. Is if you're going to schedule easy enough to get in the college football playoff, don't bitch at me if I don't come to all the games, because you've made a choice here. If you're Eli Drinkwitz, that I'm going to schedule a playoff schedule. I'm not going to schedule a challenging schedule. That's an awful out of conference schedule. There's no other way you can paint it except that's an awful out of conference schedule, and you've made that choice. Made that choice.
Their season starts with Auburn at home because worst case scenario they're 5-1.
Yeah,
right. And to me, there's only, at least talent wise, there's only 3 teams you can make an argument right now that are better than Missouri. Like, I don't think Auburn's one of those teams. Auburn could beat Missouri, but I'm saying, like, out of those 3, I think they lose 2 of those games, and I think they're probably going to find a loss with maybe an Auburn or maybe at South Carolina.
Luther Burden's the best receiver, one of them in the country.
Saw him going mock draft to the Rams, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I think Brady Cook's really good. Eli Drinkwitz, like the rest of us, though, he doesn't know how good his team is yet.
Oh, I don't know that we have any tangible proof that we can be good or not. I think, you'll find out if you're good when you play. I mean, that's the thing about football is every year it starts completely over, and no matter what you think you are going into it, the results speak for themselves. Bill Parcells says you are what your record says you are. So I don't think anybody in there thinks we're good. I think they know that we have to be 1-0 this week, and nobody's preseason accolades carry over to into the season. So preseason accolades are just speculation, and obviously that's what right now college football and social media is all about. It's all about speculation, and that's why I get excited about doing what I said. We get to start measuring ourselves versus opponents now, which that's the reality of football, and that's why competition in football is the greatest game in the world, because you don't get to talk about it, you get to be about it.
Yeah, and I really believe this team's going to underachieve. I
do too. I mean, it's going to be hard to find 4 or 5 losses, though. Underachieve is not making a college football playoff, maybe going 9-3.
Well, with that schedule, 10-2 still puts them a little bit on the bubble.
Yeah, more than likely, just based on where they are right now going into the season at number 11, they probably get in at 10-2. But Cody Schrader is really that X factor, because you watch him last year. He was the leading rusher in the SEC. He's now with the San Francisco 49ers. Got to watch him this past Sunday against New Orleans, because 49ers sat a lot of their starters. But I think Cody Schrader will end up being in the mix in Kyle Shanahan's offense when it's all said and done. But that is going to be the one X factor, a guy that took a lot of pressure off Brady Cook at the quarterback position last year.
All right, when we come back, LT has our 4 downs today. We'll continue the football conversation and everything else that is happening on our sheets here this morning. Urology Centers of Alabama, I want to remind you, UCA has over 35 urologists standing by at 16 different locations to help you out. Vasectomies, prostate health, kidney stones, everything in between. They'll take care of you this football season. Visit urologycentersalabama.com to get more details. You can call to set up an appointment, 205-930-0920. 930-0920 or visit urologycentersalabama.com. Guys, take care of yourself with Urology Centers of Alabama.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Excitement awaits at Barber Motorsports Park for the Fanatec GT World Challenge America, September 6th through the 8th. It's a high-octane weekend you won't want to miss. Witness some of the most iconic sports cars like Lamborghini, McLaren, Porsche, and Ferrari battling it out on the track. Enjoy the beer gardens, kids zone, and don't forget to bring your dog for bark at the park on Saturday. The Fanatec GT World Challenge America, September 6th through the 8th. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets today.
I'm here with my good friend Jon Lunceford of Lunceford Furniture to tell you about special values on some super comfortable seating. What you got, John?
Lance, every year we stock up on great comfort items like Lazy Boy recliners and sofas so that our customers can be ready for fall and football. This year is no different. We've made special purchases that will deliver great value to Next Round listeners and give them the most comfortable seat in the house. And as always, we've got the best prices in the state on Lazy Boy and the best selection anywhere.
That's awesome. We all know from years of shopping with you guys that Lunceford Furniture is the home for Lazy Boy value.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
All right, JohnsonRVCenter.com. JohnsonRVCenter.com. They have the hotline. Brandon Marcello, Reese Davis, Josh Pate, all recently. Tom Luganville. You can go back and get those wherever you get our podcasts, including right there on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. JohnsonRVCenter.com with new deals right now.
Tailgate season, Jimmy D. And with tailgate season here, they got the best prices of the season at Johnston RV Center for the remainder of this month. And it may not go on much longer because they are moving through that inventory there. You can see more I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. How about new and pre-owned travel trailers starting at just $14,995? How about fifth wheels as low as $397 a month? How about a lifetime warranty on anything that is new and qualifying previously owned from RV Warranty Forever? So you're covered. See it right now, the end of the summer showcase. JohnstonRVCenter.com.
Anytime between now and next week. But reports are it's going to be next week. Bama's in the mix for a 5-star guard in basketball, Jasper Johnson, Alabama, Kentucky, all the greats in for that. So his announcement could be as early as today, but expected to be early next week for Jasper Johnson. And when we were talking schedules earlier this week, they put out the bracket for the Maui Classic that Auburn is playing in. Auburn, Iowa State in the first game that weekend. Here's the bracket. Winner would play the winner of Dayton and North Carolina. Loser would play the loser of Dayton and North Carolina. So if Auburn beats Iowa State and North Carolina beats Dayton, then it will be Auburn, North Carolina. And on the top half of the bracket, you've got Michigan State, you got two-time defending national champ UConn, you got Colorado, and you got Memphis. So always the Maui Classic, Maui Invitational, is a great trip out to the islands and great basketball, and that's the way the schedule will look for Auburn, as they'll get games there on the ESPN platform.
Are you more excited about basketball season?
Because I'm talking basketball?
Yes.
No, I'm not more excited about basketball season, but I think Auburn and Alabama has risen up to the point. And, Andy and UAB and Samford, it's an exciting time for basketball around here. But no, I'm a football guy. But I am excited about basketball season. Auburn, Alabama should be really good again.
Slow it down, though. We haven't even got a football season.
Me too. But I just, 32 straight Saturdays coming up, and basketball is part of that.
32 straight Saturdays of football or basketball?
That's right.
What you're saying? Oh, that is exciting when you put it that way, yeah.
I'd rather focus on football. Basketball always signifies, hey, we're coming to an end, unfortunately.
Yeah, when you start seeing those games, you're like, oh, crap.
And again, yesterday we talked about Memphis and Alabama starting an exhibition game. Tickets go on sale Friday for Memphis and Alabama exhibition of the Rocket City Classic up at Von Braun, and we'll have some broadcast details about that coming up in the future. All right. It is time for 4 Downs. It is brought to you by our friends at Slice, all those great locations.
Our buddy C. Stu ate at the Vestavia location of Slice yesterday, said it was absolutely fantastic.
Always.
The consistency is incredible. The creativity when it comes to their different pies, from the soul pie that Brown loves. You put a little hot sauce on that?
Yeah, you know what I do is the pepper sauce. Like you put on turnip greens, I'll sprinkle some of that on there.
Fantastic stuff all of the time from the Bajalia Brothers, 5 locations, Lakeview, Vestavia, Montebello, Crestline Park, newest location in Edgewood. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Mike Evans, 31 years old today. If I asked you better Tampa Bay Buccaneer career, Mike Evans or Derek Brooks?
LT, I'm a Buccaneer fan. Derek Brooks is probably my favorite Buccaneer of all time. Mike Evans, probably my second favorite of all time. And I was really excited because I thought we were going to lose him. I thought last year was his last year, and I thought he was going to go chase the money somewhere else, and they stepped up. Mike Evans, to me, has been unbelievable. But to me, Derek Brooks is the best Buccaneer of all time. I'm going to go Derek Brooks.
Rockstar for me, it's Mike Allstud.
I go Warwick Dunn.
Yeah, Warwick Dunn's my favorite of all time.
John Lynch.
Yeah,
Warren Sapp was so good.
Warwick Dunn would be my favorite of all time.
Boy, Mike Evans just so consistently good with good quarterback play and with bad quarterback play.
Played a golf course near what that was told was Warwick Dunn's primary residence in Atlanta, and it's not as crazy as you would think. Like I think he's been very generous with his money. He's helped build houses for those in need. Good dude, Warwick Dunn. But to answer the question, I think I too would go Derek Brooks here.
Yeah.
Second down.
Hall of Famer, right? He's in Canada.
Yeah. I don't know if Mike Evans will be, and Derek Brooks is. You think Mike Evans will be?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's hard for receivers,
Who's
man.
the running back that ran with his belt unbuckled? Pittman?
Michael Pittman?
Michael Pittman.
He always had his belt unbuckled.
But I will tell you, both of them have Super Bowl rings. Brooks won one in 2002, and Evans with Tom Brady.
2020. Kenny Rogers would have been 86 years old today. Better career, Kenny Rogers or Kenny G?
Lady.
Kenny Rogers had a restaurant that Kenny G did not have. I don't. Did anybody ever get barbecue at Kenny G's? No, you did not.
They don't play Kenny Rogers at dentist's office.
That is correct.
But
that is tough.
Kenny Rogers did have lyrics. Kenny G did not have lyrics.
Kenny G can play with a sore throat.
And Kenny Rogers was an actor, Six Pack, The Gambler.
Yeah.
Kenny Rogers, if you go back and watch, did I say this the other day? If I did, tell me. If you go back and watch that, I think I said it on the Mystery Fifth Hour, that We Are the World documentary. Like, Kenny Rogers was one of the guys who can't do this without Kenny Rogers. I mean, that's how big he was in the 80s.
Did he get a solo in that, though?
Yeah. I think he was one of the ones that they're like,
we are the world.
Yeah, we got to have Kenny Rogers.
What did Waylon Jennings think about it?
Waylon was like, peace out. This is going on way too long, and I'm hot.
I would tell you this. The song that never made sense was Islands in a Stream.
He and Dolly?
And I understand it was apparently a good song, but are there islands in a stream?
That's what they were. No one in between, man.
But if you've got a stream of water,
how can they be wrong?
How can there be islands, though? That's not islands.
You sail away with them
There's
into another
rocks.
world.
No, because the stream is like the...
Rockstar's right.
It's the activity. They are a standstill island. They are islands in a stream. They're not moving.
You are more than a pretty face, aren't you? That is deep.
I am easily going to go Kenny Rogers on this one.
Kenny Rogers for me too.
Third down.
He didn't even play a big saxophone. He played basically a souped-up clarinet.
Usain Bolt, 38 years old.
Better Usain.
Better Jamaican. Better career.
Bob Marley?
Usain or Bob Marley?
Usain Bolt.
Oh, Bob Marley.
No, he's
Usain Bolt.
He's Usain Bolt.
Reggae's racket to begin with.
First off,
Usain was the fastest guy in the world for like 5 years.
Yeah, Bob Marley's songs are still Three Little Birds is a iconic song.
Sing one line of it.
Everything's gonna be all right.
Hey, Bob. Thought we lost you.
It is Bob Marley. Easy.
No.
Easy. It's not even close.
No.
The guy ran for 100 meters.
Faster than
He
anybody's
died
ever
from
done
an
it.
ingrown toenail.
No, he didn't. It was skin cancer, sun cancer.
I'm going the fastest man in the world.
Usain Bolt dominated world track and field.
No, this is not even close. It was Bob Marley.
Fourth down.
Wilt Chamberlain would have been 88 years old. That's hard to believe. He would still only be 88.
Yeah,
He's been going a long
crazy.
time. If I asked you if you had to take a guess, Wilt Chamberlain or the combination of Charlie Sheen and Gene Simmons?
I'm sure the Wilt Chamberlain thing is vastly estimated.
If you just do the math, it averaged out what was it?
Yeah, it was vastly overestimated.
So it
2.4 a day.
Yeah, it was a lot. I remember Tim Meadows, the skit they did on SNL. It was just nonstop.
Yeah, I would say probably the combo of Sheen and who was my other choice?
Gene Simmons.
Yeah,
Simmons.
Sheen and
So Gene Simmons for 5 decades has just been, and I know he's been with Shannon Tweed a long time.
One city to another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would go the combination of Sheen and Simmons.
Yeah.
Are we talking about, going back to my podcast Sunday night? Are we talking about fourth base or?
Yeah, I think you got to hit the home run.
Yeah,
there.
no. Gene Simmons and Charlie Sheen seem like second basers.
No, I'm
Let me
just
fill
saying.
you up tonight.
I'm just saying.
That's enough for me.
Probably a lot.
I got to be up early tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think any of those guys had your second or third base reference outside of fifth grade.
Well,
once they cracked into 6th, 7th grade.
I'm just saying there were probably some women in towns that wanted to. What Gene Simmons was known for was that extended tongue.
Yeah.
They were the Ed Cranepools and the Rob Deers of the world. It was feast or famine.
Yeah.
Hey, Scotty's right. Sister Jean turned to 105 today. Can you believe she's still with us?
Wow.
Look at that. Look at Scott's got the photo over there.
105.
They had 3 balloons for her.
105.
Yeah. I mean, how long ago was that Porter Mosier had them in the Final Four when we found out who Sister Jean was? I mean,
gosh, she was like a young 100.
I know. I think she was 98 at the time. I can't remember how long ago that's been.
105. That's insane. What do you
That's
think she
crazy.
runs a 40 in?
A Dunaway would just diminish it.
Yeah.
They just did with Usain Bolt.
I'm not going to say anything. But
Hey, sorry. The way my mind works, I was like, you could compare her 100. I have gotten in this TikTok wormhole Rockstar. Do you know, and I think he's 92, that Frankie Valli is still touring? Have you seen the videos?
Oh, no, that's sad.
No, it is incredibly sad because they don't
But I
even
do think,
try to hide it.
Crooners can, if we consider Frankie Valli a crooner, I think they can entertain a little longer than most.
They don't even try to hide it. It is clearly lip synced. Like there is nobody watching it thinking he's singing live, but he's still getting these pretty big crowds. Now, I think the people backing him might be singing live, but it's completely obvious he's not singing live.
So it's a voice track.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Roxy, you can find it on TikTok, Rockstar, if you wanted to try it, because it's sad.
Yeah.
Just Frankie Valli on TikTok. It is 100% voice tracked. And he just walks around holding the microphone, and occasionally his lips match up with the track.
I was going to say, it's still pretty good at his age that
Oh,
he
yeah,
can
he's
actually
90
lip sync.
Yeah.
But Troy is saying that the mob won't let him quit yet.
That could be it. I mean, it.
What can you be getting kicked up from Frankie Valli? He's not even playing local casinos.
Well, I mean,
the crowds are decent, though.
If you take in the fact that you're also getting a cut off the food buffet as you're running through for the audience, they're getting buffet.
I mean, what do people throw at him? Diapers? They don't throw panties, right?
What can you be getting kicked up from Frankie Valli?
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
Well, it's better than nothing, which is what you'd be getting kicked up from him if you were dead.
I can't see organized crime shaking him down at his age.
Frankie, we're going to need you at Topeka tomorrow night.
Royal Payne says Sammy Hagar is still surprisingly good at 78.
It's hard to believe he's 78.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, was Sammy Hagar, was it vocally demanding what he did?
Yes.
Scott's got a photo of Frankie Valli. The video's even worse, but the photo, I think you can gather how bad this must be.
Him and Richard Lewis look the same right now.
Wow.
Richard Lewis is dead.
Yes, that is correct.
I know.
But that looks like Richard.
Get one past Jim.
I'm just pointing it out for the audience.
Is Richard Lewis has been dead, what, about a month or two?
Yeah.
That's Frankie Valli.
I mean, but look, there are young-looking people. I mean, look, that front row. Well, a lot of gray hair. I was talking about the guy on the very front.
The most wasted money in that shot is 2 security guards. I mean, who the hell's jumping that gate and getting up on that stage?
Oh, my God, if I could just touch Frankie.
Yeah. Those people cannot jump that gate and get up on stage.
Can you imagine paying to go see that guy and he can't even move.
Is that 4 downs?
Yeah.
Does he take a nap during the show?
Yeah. Is that the guy on the guitar way back top right? Is that Kirby Smart and Matt Luke, offensive line coach?
Kirby Smart.
That's Kirby Smart playing the guitar.
Yeah, somebody said that in the chat room. I think it's a saxophone. The top right guy is absolutely
Alex
Kirby
Rodriguez is getting in the middle, isn't he?
Yeah. A-Rod is, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Slice, 5 locations created by the late Jeff Bajaya. His brothers, Jason and Chris, continue to celebrate his legacy. Get in one of those 5 locations today. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
Listen, unless you're 5 or 105, the Pants Store is your game day headquarters. For all you Alabama and Auburn fans out there, you can get your Bama and Auburn polos, your hats, your quarter zips, and everything else. It's the Pants Store. Locations, the original in Leeds, also in Birmingham, Huntsville, Tuscaloosa, and Auburn. Pantstore.com. Go check them out there. Ladies, they've got the Hokas and the New Balance, the cool little Western boots, full boots, half boots, quarter boots, the rompers, the dresses, and free alterations and free gift wrapping as well. Nothing says Roll Tide and War Eagle like the Pants Store. Pantstore.com. 6 locations across the great state of Alabama, including Tuscaloosa and Auburn.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or Michelson. LaserVision.com.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
You never know what we're up to here at the Next Round. The easiest way to stay in the know with our antics and adventures is to follow the Next Round across all social media platforms at Next Round Live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Whether it's Dunaway sleeping in the studio, Tim and Lunceford breaking down the latest movie release, or Game Day Chronicles, we are here to keep you updated on the latest sports news while, of course, having just a little bit of fun. Follow at Next Round Live across all platforms to join in.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
When on YouTube, you constantly hear requests to please like and subscribe. Well, here at Disrupt Media, we aren't going to play that game. Those demands are frankly outdated. So we just want you to hit like or subscribe. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure novel. Pick a path, hit like, or hit subscribe. It's your call. We don't care which, just pick one. Or go to Roll Tide Pods and do it. Or War Damn Pods. Or the Disrupt Media YouTube channel. Or the Meltdown. Just make a decision and stick with it. Like or subscribe. The choice is yours.
Hey, back with you on the next round as we roll on today. Brandon Marcello earlier on the show. A couple of NFL notes before LT tells us about our friends at Hemphill. Brandon Ayuk, contract working on with the 49ers. Looks like he's going to stay there with them. Jerry says CD and Dax talks are going well. The betting favorite to win the AFC, Kansas City plus 325 to make it to the Super Bowl. San Francisco plus 280 to win the NFC. So easier to get out of the AFC than it is the NFC? Is that what you're reading there?
No, easier to get out of the NFC. Yeah, that's plus 280. Shorter odds there for San Francisco.
Plus 325. Okay, so San Francisco bigger is a bigger lock to make the Super Bowl than Kansas City.
I'd much, as a Dolphins fan, if you could, I'd swap places with you in a heartbeat, Dunaway.
Being in the NFC is, I mean, you can name 4 or 5 teams that wouldn't shock you if they won a Super Bowl out of the NFC, but you can maybe double that in the AFC.
Jahmyr Gibbs, former Alabama, Georgia Tech running back, is on track to be back week 1 after that hamstring injury at the start of the preseason. All that from the National Football League. The story, that part of the show being brought to you by our friends at Hemphill.
205-229-2090. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954. For all of your heating, plumbing, and cooling issues, call Adam, Chad, Andrew. The guys there, tell them the next round sent you. For more information, Hemphill Services or hemphillservices.com. 205-229-2090.
I don't know how many starters you'll see in week 3. I wouldn't imagine many. I am fascinated. Who does Pittsburgh get in this game? Because I don't think they've got that nailed down, solidified yet.
Starting quarterback, you mean?
Yeah, starting quarterback.
Yeah, I heard a scenario today which would make a lot of sense. You know, you've got Arthur Smith coming in to actually call the offense. Fields has got more upside. We know what Russell Wilson is. Trade Russell Wilson to Minnesota.
Yeah. I mean,
he would be a better option than Sam Darnold.
The Steelers are at the Lions, so I mean that's who you're going to watch them against. I think you got to see both those guys play because I don't think they have any idea who the starter is right now.
At the top of the hour, we're going to look at SEC football win totals and play a little betting game between the three of us. You're welcome to play along at home there as we talk about how we think some of these win totals are going to end up going down. Braves with a big win over the Phillies last night, 3-1. When I mentioned Shohei Ohtani joining, becoming the 6th player to become a 40-40 guy, I forgot to mention that those guys, most of them didn't get to 40-40 until late September, and I forgot we were only in the end of August because we've been talking so much football. There's still a whole month going. Can Ohtani become the first ever 50-50 guy? He's 11 home runs and 13 stolen bases away.
Yeah, I mean, he could technically. That would be amazing.
We've never had a 50-50 guy.
We've never had a 50-50 guy.
No.
What did Brady Anderson do that one year? I swear I thought
he
was
51
close.
home runs.
But what did he do on stolen bases?
I don't think
Do you
a
remember
lot.
what year
He
that
was
was?
leading off that year. That was 1996, I think.
Yeah.
No, because that would have been the strike shortened. Yeah, no, it might have been 96.
I just saw his career. 19, Brady Anderson. I mean, just so randomly at 50 home runs. He never had more than 24. Sure he was at juicing.
Yeah.
Never had more than 24 in one year. He hits 50 of them in 1996, as Lance said.
How many stolen bases?
I don't know, man. This has got like
SB.
8 million. Thank you, Jim. I know what stolen bases is. I'm just looking at one of those. It's got 8 million different things on it.
I heard that was when Brady Anderson.
21 stolen bases.
Okay.
One night he went to the clubs and all he had on was a leather vest and no shirt underneath.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd 100% do that, too.
MyBookie.ag chat room over there. Seth says you have a timeline on Jaden Roberts' return. Had surgery, hand surgery, expected to be available for week 1, according to our guys at covercrimson.com, covercrimson.com. Expected to be available for week 1. Whether he'll play or not will be a coach's decision there. But he should be, for instance, if they were playing Georgia in week 1, I think he'd be able to play. May have one of those club hands, but I think he'd be able to play. But we'll see if he plays against Western Kentucky, but should be available when they get ready for week 1, coming off that hand surgery there. All right, one other thing to get to here before we get to the top of the hour football-wise. and that is more playoff projections. One of them based on just the Andy Staples brain, and then one based on a computer algorithm that Austin Mock put together for The Athletic. By the way, they're going to be a lot alike. Here's Andy Staples, cooler graphic, from On3 Sports. His preseason bracketology out there. Ohio State, Georgia, 1-2. Florida State, Kansas State, all the conference champions with a bye. He's got Alabama as the first non-conference champion sliding in, playing the Group of 5 team in Boise State. He's got Oregon and Tennessee in the playoffs. Tennessee is in there. That's different than some. He's got Texas and Notre Dame. He's got Ole Miss and Michigan in there. First 4 out is Penn State, Miami, Missouri, and Utah. Group of 5 contenders, South Florida and Appalachian State.
Boy, Andy going heavy on the SEC with 5 SEC teams in there.
That's a lot.
That's crazy.
Well, when I did mine, I ended up with 4-4, and that's how USC got in there, because I felt like there were better SEC teams than USC, but I just don't know if the Big Ten SEC powers will let 5 from one and only 3 from another of those two behemoth, massive brands, the SEC Big Ten. That's why I went 4-4 and slid USC in there.
I tell you, where Andy and I line up is I am starting more and more, Lance, to think Kansas State's going to get that Big 12 bid. I think Kansas State wins that conference.
You guys go back and forth all the time because you didn't make a case for Oklahoma State with 20 returning starters.
I know, but no, Kansas
Utah
State's
is
my
so
team.
good.
I am done, Dunaway. It is locked in.
Yeah,
Kansas
I'm trying to figure out, I would love to put Kansas in the mix. I just don't think Jalen Daniels is going to stay healthy, unfortunately.
Right.
So I think it comes down to Kansas State, Utah, or Oklahoma State.
Yep. Give me Kansas State.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah,
no love for Iowa State. More returning production in the Big 12 than anybody else, Iowa State.
Are you making a case for him?
No love. No, I'm just saying, no love for Iowa State.
No, I don't have any love for Iowa State, but I'm with Lance. I'm almost to the point, and this is probably true of a lot of conferences. If you could just tell me one of those quarterbacks he just mentioned plays 12 games, that's the team I'd pick, probably.
Yeah. Now the folks at The Athletic, Austin Mock is a computer guy. He put in a lot of percentages, came up with an algorithm, and he's got percentages to make the college football playoff, and he's thrown it down to a bracket. 88% Georgia makes the playoffs. Not saying they'll be number 1 overall seed as he has them, but 88% they're in the playoffs. 86% chance that Ohio State's in the playoff. He has them number 2 seeded there. Oregon, 86% they make the playoff, same as Ohio State. By rule, he's got them as the 5 seed there. Next up after that is Texas, 70% they make the playoffs. Now, you're in the 30% category. You don't think Texas makes the playoffs.
Yeah, but I think Texas is going to have to shoot themselves in the foot to not make the playoffs, but I think that's going to happen. I would lean that way.
After that, 66% chance Penn State makes the playoffs. 61% Notre Dame makes the playoffs.
If I asked you guys, your life is dependent upon it, you've got to give me 5 teams that will make the college football playoff. Do you think you could do it?
Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon. And then those last 2 would be, I'd be sweating bullets, literally, at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I would feel really good about those 3, and I kind of agree with you. Because you really couldn't peg yourself going with Big 12 or ACC, could you?
No, you'd have to get the champion, right? Because you don't know if they'll get a wild card bid.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't. I think I would almost avoid those conferences and just try to find 5 out of the combination of the SEC and the Big Ten.
Well, with the percentages now, someone you've been high on and most of our audience has not, higher than anybody else than I've mentioned you so far. LSU at 57%, according to his stats, information, algorithms and stuff. LSU 57%. Alabama 54%, factoring in scheduling and all that. Then you get to your first ACC team, 53% Florida State, 45% Ole Miss, 44% Utah, chances to making the playoffs, 54% Boise State.
I think that I would lean A&M in front of LSU. A&M's got a more beneficial schedule, and they host LSU.
Okay, so A&M ahead of LSU for you now.
Yeah, I think the way I would do it right now in the SEC, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, A&M.
Just missing the playoffs according to Austin Mock's algorithm, Kansas State, Michigan, Clemson, Missouri.
Well, I mean, I think like for Kansas State, and they're, it's 100% or 0% because you got to win your conference. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you look at it in those terms, like Utah's either 100% or 0%. If Utah doesn't win the conference, they're not in, and Kansas State, I think, is the same way.
Well, let me ask you this. So let's say K-State goes 11-1 and they lose to, and they beat Oklahoma State in the regular season. They lose to Oklahoma State, who's 10-2 in the college football in the Big 12 championship. I think both get in at that point.
Who's Kansas State's big wins then?
Oklahoma State and Kansas. I mean, not great wins.
That's a hard case to make.
But if they're 11-1 playing for the Big 12 championship and they lose to a team they've already beaten, who gets the automatic bid? I think both are in.
Yeah, but these are
who you bumping out
all year long. These will be the conversations we have like basketball. But who are you bumping out at that point? I mean, you're bumping out 10-2 Alabama to put them in. You're bumping out 10-2 Texas A&M, 10-2 Penn State.
I think you would bump out a 10-2 Ole Miss or a 10-2 Missouri. Probably not in Alabama.
Yeah, Missouri I could see, maybe not Ole Miss. Now, again, a lot of this depends on who the wins are and who the losses are.
Now, again, this is why I believe the regular season is going to be just as exciting as it's ever been before.
Yeah, hope so. All right, top of the hour, we'll talk some win totals when we come back. The show being brought to you by our friends at the Wharf Casual Seafood, new place here locally, but they're all over our viewing and listening area.
Yeah, look, you can check the menu out online. Check for the local or the nearest wharf location to you. Go to wharfcasualseafood.com. Find that location. Check out the menu right now. The Wharf Casual Seafoods, fast casual restaurant serving American cod seafood.
That looks good, man. Look at that.
They're going to bring us food shortly, by the way. Locations, Montgomery, Dothan, Alexander City. The newest location, Moody, Leeds. They've got great specials. Every Tuesday, beer and margarita specials, half off wine Wednesdays. They serve seafood entrees, tacos, platters, po' boy salads, burgers, and so much more. Again, to check out that menu, go to wharfcasualseafood.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at ryanbrownlive.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for The Next Round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trussville. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them The Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, final hour of the show brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, champyschicken.com. First of all, before I tell you about Champy's, well, go ahead. The picture's up, so I'll tell you about Champy's. That is the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, top center there as you watch us. That brined overnight deep-fried chicken, hand-cut chicken fingers, perfect for your tailgates, all the great southern sides. Sterling is the guy there with that great-looking bald guy who looks a little like a younger Michael Keaton, right there on the Highway 119 Alabaster location as they are getting ready to open. They just opened for lunch. I'm being told they are open for lunch right now at Champy's Chicken down there. Get the great tailgate food for lunch or dinner tonight. Take it home to watch the Week 0 games this weekend. champyschicken.com. Go by and see Sterling and the guys. Over 10 years at that one location right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Nebraska has named Dylan Raiola the starting quarterback. No surprise there. In fact, there you see Dylan. Dylan is both on 3 Sports and 24/7's freshman All-American quarterback on both those services. You also find one Auburn player and one Alabama player on both those services, on both of them.
Going to guess receivers?
Yeah, I think
one of them's a
both play the same
receiver, one
spot.
of them's a defensive back.
Oh, really?
Auburn's Cam Coleman is both 24/7 preseason All-Freshman All-American and on 3 Sports preseason freshman All-American. And Saban Brown of Alabama, DB, Saban, Big Z, is both on 24/7 and on 3.
Heard good things about both of them, obviously.
Ryan Williams makes on 3, does not make the 24/7. Auburn's defensive lineman, Amaris Williams, is on the 24/7 preseason All-American list. So a little defense there from Hugh Freeze's Auburn squad.
Can I? Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say back to Raiola real quick.
I wanted to talk about him too.
Yeah, if he ends up being your top freshman quarterback this year, then that probably means Nebraska at least has a winning season for the first time in forever. But, he gets to break it in a little bit against UTEP. But Brandon Marcello brought this up earlier. You get Colorado under the lights in week 2.
Yes,
and
sir.
Think about that quarterback matchup with Sanders and Raiola.
Oh, that could be fantastic. And, when you use Dunaway's handy schedule here, Miami, Florida is obviously your big 2:30 window in week 1. The 2:30 window in week 1 is not amazing, though. And I will have that UTEP-Nebraska game up on Fox just to see him. Now, Nebraska's going to whip UTEP in all likelihood. But I want to see this kid play because I think, Lance, he's good. If he's good enough, Nebraska becomes a team that is I got to see who all they play that's a contender. They're not going to beat Ohio State. They could beat USC there. They could beat, Wisconsin. They could beat Iowa. They could ruin Iowa's playoff
We've talked about
chances.
this. They could easily be 7-0 when they go to Columbus on October 26th to take on Ohio State. And at that point, Nebraska would be a top 15 team, at least helmet-wise, marquee, hype leading up to that game. College game day is probably there, at least Fox, big noon kickoff. But I'm not going to be surprised at all. And Nebraska is going to have to get it in the months of September, October, because the close to their season is really difficult.
Yeah. I ran with 3 TVs on Saturday.
Yeah, do the 2:30 window for me.
LT has a lot more. Well, I'm gonna use the quad boxes.
I've only got
here.
3 TVs now.
Okay, but
slumming it.
You got Miami, Florida, and Florida is the biggest 2:30
easy.
window.
Yep.
Colorado State, Texas would be a blowout, but I want to see Texas there. That 2:30 North Dakota Iowa State game could be fun on FS1. Boise State at Georgia Southern, 3 o'clock ESPNU.
Yeah.
That could be a fun game.
It's a tough window, man.
Akron, Ohio State. I'm going to want to see Ohio State, Will Howard, how he's handling all that.
That is welcome to your CBS Big Ten deal, Gary and Brad and Gary. That's their first game.
They never had to do the Mercer, Alabama games.
Nope. Akron, Ohio State, they never did anything close to that in their SEC package.
Yeah. That 11 o'clock window, though, is fun that first weekend. Penn State, West Virginia, Clemson and Georgia. Throw in a little Virginia Tech Vandy if you want to. If you want to just catch a glimpse of Chattanooga, Tennessee, see what Nico looks like. 1 o'clock, that tweener slide on ESPN Plus, South Dakota State, Oklahoma State. Can't wait. That's week 1. That's a week from Saturday when we get to all of that coming up. Brownie?
Yes, Jimmy.
After I hear about Odie's, I want you to explain the rules of what we're about to do here. Tell us about our friends at Odie's.
Rockstar tonight. It's Wednesday, and that means
Trivia.
Odie's Team Trivia every Wednesday night at the Crestline location. They've got it the newest location in Edgewood. Great food from Rodney Davis at both locations. Award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches like the Diablo sandwich, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Get into one of those 2 locations today. Go see Will Haver and that great staff, Odie's Tavern.
I had to do trivia last week, fill in for Rockstar. I got to do trivia, filling in for Rockstar last week, and I had that south of the border roll-up. Always living at Odie's. Never miss it. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We've got the official mybookie.ag win totals for all 16 Southeastern Conference teams.
Okay, so we'll be using 15 of these in this game.
No, we're eliminating Vanderbilt? No, I'm kidding. You can eliminate whoever doesn't get picked.
You choose Vandy if you think they're good.
I don't. The way we're going to do this is I'll use Vanderbilt as an example. If Lance drafts Vanderbilt, they're at 2.5. And Lance says, I think it's over 2.5. He gets a point for everyone they're over 2.5. Half a point if they get to 3, 3.5, you get it, right? So we'll see who ends up with the most points at the end of the year. I assume somebody is going to write down who everybody picks and do the math at the end of the year.
I'm going to do that. But
okay.
For instance, as I use the example, 9.5 is Alabama's win total. If you picked Alabama and they ended up 8 wins in the regular season, you would have negative 1.5 points. So
that's
that
right.
would hurt
yep.
you.
That's going to hurt you. Unless
you
take the under.
I've got 9 overs, 7 unders.
Yeah, that's right. You could take the under, and then you got it correctly.
That's right. Okay, so how are we going to determine draft order?
I'll go last.
Okay.
And make 2 picks. Who wants to go first?
You can go first, Brown.
All right. I am going to go first, and I am going to take the Florida Gators over 4.5.
Oh, I like that pick.
Oh, thank you, Jim.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I'm going to take Florida Gators over. I was watching the golf Saturday, and Kevin Kisner's in the booth with NBC, Georgia grad, and they do the walk and talk with Billy Herschel when he's playing the hole, and they interview him while he's playing the hole.
Yep.
And you know what Kisner's question was? He goes, "All right, Billy, Kevin Kisner's country is cornbread." He goes, "Official Vegas win total for Florida is 4.5. You taking the over or the under?" That was his question while he's playing a golf hole. I love it.
I bet he took the over.
Horse was like, "Oh, we're going over." I'll tell you who we're not losing to. And Kisner's like, "Oh, you're going to get drilled by Georgia."
So Brown's got over
I got
Florida.
Over Florida.
Okay, can we just talk about that for a second? I think they make a bowl game. Do you think they make a bowl game?
I think it's going to be right around 6 wins. I think they do beat Miami week 1. At least that's where
huge,
I sit right now.
That's huge for me on this. Yeah,
I think they beat Miami, and I think that's going to be the difference there.
Yeah. LT, your second pick.
I am going to take over 8.5 for Texas A&M.
I thought that's where
you were
going
there. Yeah.
I thought that's where.
I just think the schedule. Again, they need to beat Notre Dame week 1, but if they beat Notre Dame week 1, they should be able to. 9-3 should be kind of the floor there.
So Florida is off the board, and Texas A&M. What do you think about Texas A&M?
Well, I don't know if I'm being influenced by Lance because I sit next to him every day, or if I just happen to agree with him, but I am starting to come around. I do think they're going to beat Notre Dame week 1.
I think Walter Nolan is a big loss.
Yep.
I think Evan Stewart's a big loss, but I think Wegman being healthy, and again, knock on wood, this, I guess, is in relation to any team out there, but if Wegman can stay healthy, and he couldn't do it last year, played in 4 games, I think with Mike Elko, they're going to be really good.
I'm going to take Kentucky over the 6.5.
I liked that under.
Oh, you like under that?
I did.
That was a bad mistake on my part.
Not necessarily.
Dunaway got baited in by Matt Jones. We don't even have to be very good to win those games.
We don't even have to be very good.
I mean, we've got 6 wins.
The way I like to look at it initially is just you find me what the 7 that are going to put it over that you feel great about.
Right.
Southern Miss, Ohio, what do they call them? Stinky teams.
Stinky team. We got 4
Murray
stinky
State.
teams.
There are 3 wins. I'll give you Vanderbilt at home. There are 4. Now you find me 3 other in-stone wins. I would say South Carolina. We could do that at 5. And then I have no idea.
He had them at 9-3 in the playoffs, Lance.
Yeah. I'll take Auburn over the 7.5.
You do this.
What do you mean? I'm trying to win the game.
You picking Auburn is undefeated. Wait till little T hears this.
I'm trying to win the game.
So you I don't know if she's listening to the show live, but she's listening to the show live.
Did you get middle finger?
she picked Auburn number 1 apparently. So you've got Auburn
over 7.5. We've said all summer long they're going to win 8 or 9. I need positive points.
Okay, so all I've got to do on my under with Oklahoma, under 7.5, and I think Oklahoma's going to be good. But all I got to do is find 5 losses, and I can do it right now. And it's not really going to be in September. But I am going to say there's going to be so much, they're going to exert so much energy on Tennessee that they turn around the next week and they lose their first road opener in conference to Auburn. And that starts, I think they beat Texas. I'll say they lose to Ole Miss. That would be loss 2, at Missouri 3, Alabama 4, and LSU 5. I think they completely come apart at the end of the season.
Yeah, that's a tough finish.
Yeah. Funny, I had them over.
It's not funny at all. It's completely believable. I am going to take Texas under. We're playing at 10.5.
From mybookie.ag.
From mybookie.ag, code next round when you sign on to
under
mybookie.ag.
10.5.
Under 10.5 for Texas.
I mean, do you just let LT do the research for you and you
I was
just
copying off
steal his information?
If I let LT, and I almost did this. If I let LT do the research, I would have gone A&M right out of the chute, and I went Florida. But I almost went A&M.
Yep. You have another pick too, but Texas under 10.5.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, I forgot we're sneaking it.
I would tell you that. I mean, you get a half point if they go 10, which I feel like is a number of people would settle at. And
let me take Tennessee over the 8.5.
Tennessee
Another
over
team,
8.5.
LT
Real
likes.
quick though on Texas.
Yeah,
Texas is going to have to find a loss. Like at Michigan. If they lose there, I think it is a safe bet to say Texas goes under. Well, let's just say they win that Michigan game. I think Oklahoma's going to get them again. I think Georgia's going to get them, and then it comes down. You've got a month and a half of football where you got to dodge bullets, and that A&M game at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I am now going to go.
It's really hard now.
It's gotten more difficult for sure. But I am going to go under Ole Miss.
Ooh, interesting. Because we're playing that at 9.5.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most people think there is a not easy, but very manageable path to 10 wins for Ole Miss, and you're taking the under 9.5.
Yeah, I'm just, now that Lane Kiffin says he's got what he needs to win a championship, I'll believe it when I see it. Now, I said this with Mike Norvell last year. He backed up 10 wins with 13 wins, if you count the championship game. I need to see Ole Miss coming off 11 wins, what they're going to be able to do. The only times they're going to be underdogs at LSU, against Georgia, and that's it. So if they win the games they're supposed to, they're going to be 10-2. I just think they find a loss, whether it's at Florida, against Oklahoma. Boy, that schedule.
I know.
I'm going to take LSU under 9.5.
And Jim, your final pick. Jim's got Kentucky over, Auburn over, LSU under.
Can I get a reaction to LSU under 9.5?
Tough schedule.
Yeah. I thought, so when I did this morning, when we were handed our sheet and I went ahead and scribbled some notes, I put X's next to the ones I thought were perfect. And I've got an X next to LSU. I think 9.5 is just the perfect number. I don't know what to do with it.
Well, I'll go on and give them 5 wins to open the season. I think they pay back Ole Miss. I think that's 6. Then it gets really difficult. I think Vanderbilt is a 7th win. I had LSU going over 9.5. I don't love it. I agree with you. I think 9.5 is perfect. I think the number is going to be 9 or 10. I would not feel good about this one at all.
Can I just say, of all, well, no, you go ahead and make your last pick.
In my last pick, I'm going to take under 5.5 on South Carolina. Under 5.5 on South Carolina.
What I was going to tell you is, other than Auburn, I put the X by everyone I thought was perfect. I had an X next to every one of yours. Like, I thought every one of yours, they've set the perfect total.
I'm going to take Vanderbilt's over 2.5. And look, I don't feel great about it, but Clark Lee did in 2021 win 5 games. He's coaching for his life. You've got Alcorn State. At Georgia State is going to be tricky. If they get that, they're going to get Ball State at home. I've got 2 guaranteed wins in Alcorn State and Ball State. And then it comes down, can I get a win either at Georgia State or with South Carolina at home?
Okay.
It is remarkable.
2 picks for you, Brownie.
No, 1 pick. I've already got 3.
Oh, we're going 5, though.
Oh, we're going 5?
Yeah.
Okay. I was only prepared for 4, Jim.
Well, surely all yours have gone anyway.
I'll take Missouri over the 9.5, and I'll take Alabama over the 9.5. I was about to say it's amazing we've gone this deep without Alabama getting picked at 9.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take Georgia at 10.5.
And that was going to be another one that shocked me that Georgia went that deep.
I mean, Georgia's won
39
consecutive regular season games, and now all I've got to do is get them to win 11 of 12.
All I got to do is go 11-1.
Yeah, it's a tough schedule, really difficult, but I'll take Georgia there.
So, Jim, all you got left is Mississippi State or Arkansas. Mississippi State's at 4.5, mybookie.ag. So is Arkansas.
Yep. The big questions here are overs or unders, and which one could get the most out of that.
The way you've talked about Arkansas, Lance, I'm a little surprised you left them on the board.
It is a tough schedule.
Yeah, it's a tough schedule. But
what was your last pick, Dunaway? You had under 9.5 LSU, and then
South Carolina under 5.5.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take. I just don't know about Mississippi State. I'm going to take Arkansas over the 4.5.
All right, so I've got Florida, Tennessee, Missouri, and Alabama over, and Texas under. Jim's got Kentucky, Auburn, South Carolina, and Arkansas over, LSU under.
South Carolina have under.
Excuse me.
I got LSU and South Carolina under.
I've got it written down that way. I said it the wrong way. Jim's got Kentucky, Auburn, Arkansas over, LSU and South Carolina under. Lance has Texas A&M, Vandy, and Georgia over, Oklahoma, and Ole Miss under.
Yep, that's the way I have it.
All right.
And nobody played Mississippi State.
Yeah, we left State at 4.5. It's another one I put in X by. I thought that was a pretty good number by Vegas on that.
I really think they're all really good at mybookie.ag. Promo code next round. I mean, they all look like the perfect number to me. Do you think they did a good job? Which one's the biggest? You think it's Texas A&M, obviously. You picked them. If you had the first pick, would you have picked Texas A&M?
I mean, it's one of those things like back on your life, gun to head. I wouldn't feel great about it because if A&M loses out the gate to Notre Dame, a really good Notre Dame team, then you don't have any margin of error. You get one more loss the entire way.
It's a big scramble then.
So, week one for these win totals. And look, it's a lot of fun if you can get week one in your pocket because you get to pull for a team the entire season when you have one of these win totals, whether it's under or over. But if you don't get week one, like if you've got Miami over and they lose to Florida, or if you've got Notre Dame or A&M over and they lose to the other, you're already behind the 8 ball.
Tear up the ticket at that point, don't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
And again, you can get negative points if you just picked it wrong. If you, for instance, have Alabama over and they go under, you're getting negative points.
If Alabama's 7-5, I am in trouble.
Yep.
So
is DeBoer. And I'll never hear the end of the shit either.
So is Lance.
Show being brought to you by the Lance's Lock folks at Hemp Hill. Hemp Hill brings you lanceslock.com. Getting ready for another exhibition weekend starting Thursday night, rolling through the weekend of the NFL. And then on Saturday, LT starts playing college football.
Oh, cannot wait. We're going to have plays up all day Saturday. And just want to remind, congratulations to our subscribers. 5-0 last night. Woo! 5 more plays in Major League Baseball. New website, lanceslog.com. Football-only package. If you're interested in that, I highly suggest get on board with everything. It's only $100 a month. We've got a new YouTube channel, win@lanceslog.com. Like, subscribe, share that. We've got win totals up there as well if you want to check that out. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services, 205-229-2090. That is the number you need to call if you have any issues in your home or business regarding plumbing, heating, and cooling. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
A little T, you're giving me this look. Your thoughts?
The fact that you play innocent after you do this.
He knows what he's doing.
And over. You go, when Brown reacts, you go, what?
Yeah.
As if you don't know what you're doing.
Oh, he does.
He 100% does.
Like that is, no.
How do you play it? How do you play it? 7.5. You think it's over?
Dunaway, you know the power that you hold and you use it to watch me suffer. And you picked, that was your fourth pick. How many other teams are on the table when you did that? A lot. That was unnecessary, and you do this on purpose.
Because if they win 9, I win the pool.
Hey, what's amazing is like I saw Troy give you the old F-bomb
Yep, he did.
in the chat. I mean, like people, they know your powers.
I will tell you this though, and I've told her this before because she's flipped me off several times in our relationship. A lot of, and I'm not what's the word when you're a man and you think men do things better than women? Misogynistic.
Yeah, you're not misogynistic.
I'm not misogynistic. In fact, up here, I think I'm pretty much down the middle. And we debate sometimes if I got a Y chromosome.
Yeah, you might be the most feminine person up here.
Yeah. But for a female, most women don't shoot birds really well.
Hey, you're right. Most of us like.
Yeah. But little T can shoot a bird.
That's right.
Let me see a little T.
She's got it down pretty good.
She fired one in here at you. I saw that thing.
Yeah, she does. She's wearing a frown right now.
Yeah, she's got a she shoots it well. Like she has a manly bird.
And she's heavy texting too, like she's pissed. Yeah, there it is. That's not bad. Yeah.
Do it again. Yeah. She probably.
I agree with Bobby.
I think that it's actually true. Yeah.
He's been pegged a couple of times.
She's probably heavy texting 5-card Charlie right now. This will be a thread on the auburn.com later on.
Look, you two are closer proximity wise than anybody in the studio because she's in our office right outside the studio, but you've got your back to her the whole time.
I know.
So if she's upset at you never know it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan if we put her at a desk over there and give her a little monitor and headset and
let her just
so she can react to the show more.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
For the next 32 Saturdays, on Mondays come in as we react to Auburn, Alabama wins and losses. All right, when we come back, we'll get to trash. Thanks to our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Somebody was asking, down at the Floribama show, will you have a ice-cold Bud Light during the show? Absolutely.
Somebody literally asked that?
Absolutely, we will. All right, trash on the other side. This is the next round.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at jimdunaway.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
Hey, you. School's coming back. Time to gear up. And at New Balance Birmingham, we know what's up. Before hitting the books, check out the looks. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
I mean, there are times that I think sports is going to come in between mine and Taylor's friendship.
That's potential. It's got potential. There's no doubt. I think right now y'all are okay, but if Auburn starts losing. I was just telling Dunaway, Lance, it's almost football season when on the TVs in the studio here, we've got 4 TVs with programming on them. I'm constantly having to dodge Little League World Series and U.S. Open tennis. It's
we are close.
It's close to football when you start having to dodge U.S. Open tennis and Little League World Series.
Way to wellness, your journey to healthy living. God, it scared me when I saw a little T behind me for a second. I thought she was going to
I've had enough.
Thought she was going to stab me. Our friends at Way to Wellness brings you the show, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. Go check it out. No cookie cutter plan, everything designed for you. The program is overseen by Leslie and her board certified professionals. That's the Meltdown guys, the one and only Tim Melton and Jon Lunceford hopping on the scale there as they have continued to lose weight with our friends at Way to Wellness. There are no contracts, there's no sign-up fees, and that consultation you see is absolutely free. For me, it's about controlling blood pressure and cholesterol numbers, something they can do as well. They have different ways in just the eating plans that can help you out. The website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. All right, so we had a little fun with that. Kane Womack, by the way, weatherman, tourism guy as well, not just Alabama's defensive coordinator. Rockstar cut number 8, Kane Womack, famously now of the guy in the full sweat outfit at Alabama practices, gets asked about the weather, the sweating, the sweatsuits, and his thoughts on the weather so far during camp in Tuscaloosa. Take it away, Al Roker Womack.
Yeah, I think I don't think you come to Alabama unless you're a true competitor, unless you want to be in those big moments, right? And so
I gave you the wrong one, Rockstar. My bad. Cut 9. Yeah, cut 9.
That was a good cut.
Did you wear a sweatshirt the entire practice?
I did. You didn't think I got enough of a sweat in? This is, I don't know if we would consider this North Alabama, but, compared to Mobile, I am living in paradise right now in terms of the weather. So, I love Mobile. I love that town, but it is damn hot this time of year and humid pretty much all year round. So to get a little bit of a breeze and all that stuff, I couldn't get over how good it felt out there. So.
Yeah, so
is
it that much hotter in Mobile?
No, Tuscaloosa is the hottest city in Alabama.
It is. That's why I couldn't believe that when I saw that. Now, Mobile's hot now.
Yeah, Mobile, but at least downtown Mobile, but you get water, you get the breeze off the coast, though.
That's right. Yeah. Tuscaloosa, it always seems like it's 5-10 degrees hotter in Tuscaloosa. I think the Black Warrior contributes to that with the humidity.
With no air.
Yeah, I mean you don't get a whole lot of wind moving.
Yeah, but down there, like LT says, you get a lot of afternoon thunderstorms just because you're on the coast.
Yeah.
So we are making that drive tomorrow after the show, heading to the Floribama. And,
That's right.
From Birmingham, the drive to the coast isn't that bad. Like, the drive down there, always fun. The drive back kind of sucks because you always get in traffic. But I heard one of the more amazing things this morning. I was talking to our buddy Richard Holland, kicking at Coolers on the way in.
I hadn't seen Richard.
Oh, well, he's going to be down there this weekend. But he told me, he said, he was going to Biloxi first, and then he's coming over in the morning. He was like, this drive just sucks. And I was like, I don't know how y'all do the drive from Nashville. He said, people don't realize this. Nashville is considered kind of the heart of Dixie as well. Do you know it's easier to drive, a shorter drive from Nashville to Chicago than Nashville to the beach?
Well, it's 6.5 hours from here to Chicago, I think.
No,
10
hours.
No,
10 hours.
Not a drive,
10 hours.
And it's 3 to Nashville, so that'd be 7 hours. So it takes 7 hours for them to get to the beach.
Oh, yeah.
Or more? Wow.
But, I mean, it just sounds weird to say, if you're in Nashville, hey, I'll race you. I'm going to Chicago. Yeah. You're going to the beach.
You know what
and
I'm going to say?
you.
I'm going to let you win. I'll be at the beach. Have fun in Chicago.
That is true when you do the math. That is crazy.
That is, it's nuts to think about.
Well, if I lived in Nashville, if you've got the means, I mean, they've got those like $150 flights, and I would think you'd almost spend that much driving.
Yeah, $150 flight to the Panama City airport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know what the car rental situation is there. I've never obviously flown into that airport.
I have. I was with Herb when we dropped Betty off there one time. It's quick in, out, nice looking airport.
I mean, I assume they've got car rental options there. Yeah,
I did have a buddy that flew in, and he got. You're able to Uber from Panama City to the 30 area. It's like $50 or $60.
So your issue becomes, obviously, if you're going to travel by air, is like all the beach equipment you want to take, whatever you want to take. Right. But I think they've got rental companies down there now where you can rent just about anything you need at the beach, and they just drop it at your condo for the week.
You
like
can.
Beach chairs and crap like that.
You can. Maggie's friend, we went to the beach recently, all of us, and she's from the Northern Virginia area, D.C. area. And she did. She had flown into Birmingham to see her family, rode to the beach with us, and then flew out from Panama City.
I've never been to that airport, but it is pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's fairly new.
Oh, yeah. It's 4 or 5 years old.
There was a rumor.
Big planes.
But there was a rumor for years that they were going to make it an even bigger airport, that it was almost like an international airport right there between PCB and Destin. I don't guess they've ever added to it, but I'd always heard rumors they were actually going to expand it to increase tourism.
That's what we need is more tourists down there.
When they used to say that, I thought, where are you going to put the people that fly in? Because there's nowhere now.
I had a buddy from Chicago that would fly from Chicago to Fort Walton. Fort Walton used to be the airport of choice.
Yeah. Isn't that the same one, Fort Walton, Panama City?
No.
It's not?
You can't fly from Mobile to Birmingham? Like, I've looked at it with my daughter down there just in case.
You used to be able to.
Yeah, you can't now, though.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
It's crazy. All right, Trash Time brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Before you hit the big button, Rockstar, 2028 Olympics, LA Olympics, flag football becomes an Olympic sport. We have a flag football, a bunch of guys who've been competing in the World Cup and everything for us. But the big question is, are we going to ask NFL guys to play for our flag football team, or we're going to let the flag footballers be our flag football?
I'll tell you this, as a Rams fan, I don't want any of them playing on
I
that
don't
team.
either. But if it weren't for him being a Dolphin, if your quarterback was Jaden Daniels.
No, if your quarterback. What about if your quarterback was Tyreek Hill?
Well, I was going to say Tyreek Hill is a receiver, but you could play him anywhere you wanted to.
Yeah.
I was going to put Jaden Daniels at quarterback, but maybe you'd go Mahomes.
Would you rather go with the guys who have been competing in flag football for the USA, specific, used to that sport, and they've been competing in the World Cup, or you go NFL guys?
How many do you have to have? 5?
1, 2. It seems like it's a 5, 6
quarterback,
person.
4 receivers, 5 receivers, whatever. I would like to say I could take an NFL quarterback and the 4 best receivers and maul the competition.
So it is 5.
Is it? It's either 5 or 6.
Well, I mean, I would, roster of 10. If I'm a corporation, I front $10 million, give everybody $1 million each to go out and win the gold if you wanted to do it.
Like if you gave me Tyreek, you don't think I can win if you gave me, you pick the quarterback. If I've got Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson.
I can give you, I could come up with a freshman All-American team from 24/7 and on 3 that would win the gold medal for sure.
Keep in mind, I think you have to play both ways. Right?
Yeah. You think Travis Hunter would be any good?
Yeah, he would. He would. Rusty's right. That's where I got the story. The USA flag quarterback guy that was stud on our flag football team is upset that he may not get to compete in the Olympics.
Oh, are they actually talking about people other than the guys that are doing it? Right?
He's the one talking. Hooch or whatever his name is like.
Oh, Hooch
is not. He's unhappy that the discussion is, or they're going to let the NFL guys play for Team USA.
No, I mean that is a specialized sport, by the way, because we would go out and play intramurals, but when you see teams that have played together for a long time, how good they actually are, I would just let our flag football champions handle it. I guarantee it will win gold.
To Lance's point. If Tyreek Hill went to Stephen Ross, the Dolphins owner, and said, "Hey, I want to compete in this," what do you think Stephen Ross is going to say?
Are they paying you $88 million a year like I am?
Well, what are they paying you? Because I know what I'm paying you.
Let me show you a tape about Robert Edwards, former Georgia running back.
Yeah, I'll start putting in their contracts too. I remember, Robert Edwards when he almost lost his leg.
Yeah, now that was on sand, but still.
Yeah, but still.
All right, Trash Time. Hit the button, Rockstar.
Vision Cable.
Hi, watch me beat Peter McNeely on Vision Cable Vision.
Great. Okay, now Comcast Cable.
Hi, I'm Mike Tyson. Watch me beat Peter McNeely on Comcast Cablevision.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right.
I think that was a yes man.
Mortgages done
Great.
the right way.
The best part of it, great.
They are our mortgage experts. It doesn't matter where you're listening to us, from Seattle to Sylacauga. These guys can hook you up. MortgageRight.com for more information, whether you're buying your first home or your final home. They are here to help. The advice is absolutely free. Stop by the 280 location or just call 205-900-7200 NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Man bitten on his testicles by a huge python in Thailand.
Not ideal.
Leaving his bathroom sprayed in blood as he desperately beat it to death with a toilet brush.
The python?
I don't know if could you beat a python to death with a toilet brush?
I don't think so.
I think if you're pissed off enough times.
That toilet brush pretty soft,
No,
Rockstar.
I'm undefeated in that stadium, though.
Horrifying pictures show the aftermath of Tanat Thanwanan's exchange with the 12-foot reptile hiding in the U-bend of his home toilet on Tuesday. He went on to say, quote, "I felt something biting my balls. It was very painful."
It was hot.
I understand.
So I put in my hands in the toilet to see what was wrong. I was shocked that I grabbed a snake. I quickly stood up, plucked it out. I felt pain, really bad pain, and there was blood everywhere. But I was more shocked to have found a python in the toilet.
I bet.
In a desperate attempt to break its grasp, he then grabbed the toilet brush and started whacking at the snake's head until it loosens its grip and died. But, man, you see there's a dead snake hanging out of the toilet and blood all over the floor.
Nick in the MyBookie.ag chat room, that takes the phrase, "my anaconda don't want none" to a whole new level. Baby got back.
He said, doctor said he does not need stitches as the wound was not deep enough to sever the skin. It would heal in a couple of weeks. He went on to say, my testicles, quote, are safe now.
Oh, good.
I'm lucky it wasn't a venomous snake. A cobra would have killed me. His balls would have turned black and fallen off.
Oh, yeah, and then he dies. Scott's got the photo there. It looks like...
I'm getting scared to sit on the toilet.
I tell you, it's why I pre-flush. You never know what's crawling up there.
I will go ahead and tell you, until we've had so many of these in trash and brown recently, when I get up in the middle of the night, I used to not be turn on the light guy, because occasionally I will sit because I don't want to all the way wake up. But all the time now, I'm turning the light on and I'm flushing first.
I mean, I've never encountered anything in my toilet. But I've seen too many of these stories not to just give it the one good flush.
It was ESPN's Jeff Darlington.
That's right.
Last week had an iguana crawling out. Some of these I don't believe, but
Goose, you're right. In old westerns, they used to tell you when you got a snake bite, you had to suck the poison out.
That's true.
Yeah, that is not true.
They have debunked that now.
Yeah. 36 flights were canceled at Japan's new Chitose airport on Saturday after a pair of scissors went missing. Now, Japanese media report that retail outlets at the airport, which serves as the regional city of Japan's northernmost island, are required to store scissors in a locker. When staff need to cut something, they withdraw the scissors and then replace them after they're done snipping. But last Saturday, an unnamed retailer at the airport was unable to find a pair of scissors. Lengthy search ensued, during which security checks for incoming passengers were paused for at least 2 hours. Now, chaos ensued. Passengers were denied entry, and airport authorities scrambled to determine whether the scissors had been swiped by somebody with malicious intent. The incident saw over 200 flights delayed, 36 canceled altogether. The mess meant some artists didn't appear at a music festival. Happily, the scissors eventually found in the very same shop from which they had gone missing.
Those aren't the real scissors, are they, Rockstar? It's just an artist rendering.
No, I think those are the real. I can't tell if it's a sketch artist or not.
Here's quite the headline. Too fat man in Taiwan gets divorced after wife charges him money for sex and conversations.
You know what that makes her?
Is this the real picture? I love this drawing.
Same sketch artist.
I'm not sure this is going to work out.
She seems to be either really mad or really enjoying it.
Yeah. She can't reach his pocket or his wallet.
A lot of things can't reach. Yeah.
She can't reach a lot of things.
Yeah. A man in Taiwan has filed for divorce after his wife demanded he pay her a fee each time they had sex. Now, according to the South China Morning Post, the couple, known by their pseudonyms, Hey and John, tied the knot in 2014, had 2 kids.
Hey, John.
Man claimed that his wife, who opposed the split,
pay for your sex,
rationed sex to once a month in 2017, then rejected him entirely in 2019 without any reason. In 2021, she then began charging a fee each time he wanted to have sex or have a conversation. Now, according to Howe, His wife told their relatives that he was, quote, too fat and incompetent. First filed for divorce in 2021. However, he withdrew the lawsuit after his wife promised to work on the relationship. At the time, he even registered their property in the wife's name. Boy, this guy has literally no balls. She began charging a fee of $15 every time he wanted to have sex or even talk to her. It's a pretty good bargain, though. I haven't seen her, but
$15. No talking.
Yeah,
no talking.
No talking.
Now, the man said by the time he sued his wife again for divorce this year, they had not spoken to each other in 2 years. They only communicated via a messaging app when they had to. The couple even tried marriage counseling without success.
No talking, made baby cry. Is that blimp style? Is that the way? I mean, that is a good year.
Not a bad one.
Misunderstanding over an all-you-can-eat deal recently escalated into a heated confrontation, resulting in the arrest of a woman at an Applebee's restaurant in Indiana.
Right there in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Shawnisha Combs, 28, charged with disorderly conduct after an incident on August 2nd when she and her dining companions believed that the $15.99 all-you-can-eat menu was intended to feed the entire group.
It says all I can eat.
No. All you can eat. And
so,
what about you?
So they got a whole table, $15.95, and we just keep bringing us food.
Yeah.
I bet they were going to tip well, too,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I'll tell you this, though. The guy before that was paying $15 for what he was paying for. $14.99 for that guy. We now know why he looks the way he looks.
Now, the promotion, however, is currently intended for individual diners, a detail that the group seemed to overlook, leading to a disagreement with the restaurant staff. Now, according to police reports, confusion began when Cobbs and her group insisted that the menu did not clearly specify the deal was per person.
Come on.
However, when officers arrived at the scene, they found that the menu indeed clarified that the offer was for individual customers only.
Yep.
Now, the situation intensified as Cobbs reportedly began arguing with staff members and other patrons. Tensions escalated further when Cobbs allegedly confronted other diners as they were leaving the restaurant, possibly due to a prior disagreement. Typically, I stick to myself. I would have had to have stepped up once the server was having problems with this table.
Yeah, I mean, because this is common sense. I mean, the police officer comes in and says, nobody at this table thought this was for the whole table.
Yep.
You guys are just trying to steal
Fortunately,
food.
there was at least one competent person in the dining party. One member of Cobb's party stepped away and forward to pay the bill in full, bringing the chaotic scene to a close.
Are you, either of you, anybody here an all-you-can-eat guy?
I do not usually go that route.
I can't tell you the last time I've done it.
I just don't eat a lot like that.
I just feel like it's quantity over quality most of the time when it's all you can eat.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you what, when I've gone out big, Maggie and I have done this the last 2 times we've been out. We've enjoyed the appetizer. We've gotten 2 appetizers, and we've enjoyed that so much that I've had more than half of my entree to go both times.
Yeah.
That we've filled up on the appetizers.
I will say, like, those places you go in Disney a lot of times do the family-style dining, and that's all you can eat. Like, if you like one of the sides, they'll just bring you a whole other pot of it.
Yeah.
You know, so I guess that's the last time I've done that.
I made the mistake in whatever that Italian place is down at Disney, where they have the family portions. And so, like, I ordered the whole thing, and they brought it out, and it was like, I was like, damn, that's expensive. It's $40 for spaghetti, and it was for the whole family.
For the whole family, and you got it.
Yeah.
You were just the opposite of the Applebee's incident.
A Russian man who got a vasectomy after fathering 4 kids is preparing to sue the medical clinic that botched the surgery, causing him to father a 5th child. Now, they tell you that there is a small percentage.
Hey, did you ever go back and get the test run? You're supposed to go back.
Yeah.
I didn't. I never did.
You never did? You just rolling the dice?
I mean, it's 99.9%.
Now, I did have one of the urologists from UCA was talking about, stories about a guy coming back in and being like,
oh, you hear them, yeah.
Yeah, like, hey, my wife's pregnant. And then they run the test and, it ain't yours.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Turns out you don't need to see us. Our procedure was perfect.
Yeah. And in 2022, after becoming a father for the 4th time, Maxim, 45-year-old man from Russia,
Loved his
made
magazine.
the radical decision to get a vasectomy to ensure, I don't know why that's so radical, that he didn't get his wife pregnant again. Now, he visited a local medical clinic that performed vasectomies, agreed to pay $330 for the operation. Procedure was successful. Maxim was discharged from the clinic after only a few hours. Everything was well and good until early last year when Maxim's wife told him she was pregnant again, which was quite a shock considering the circumstances. Despite the man's hope false positive result on the pregnancy test. In November of last year, he became a father for the 5th time. When Maxim contacted the clinic where he had gotten the vasectomy for an explanation, he was asked to undergo a paternity test and a spermogram to confirm that he was still able to father children.
The spermogram has a totally different meaning in
Both tests confirmed that the Russian man was indeed still very fertile. You might want to get this checked. Still.
Yeah, I would. I would.
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
Okay.
I think I'm good. What a miracle baby it'd be for Maggie and me.
Oh boy, resetting the clock at this point would suck.
Would you have time to like raise the baby and change it, and take it to Mother's Day out?
I see what you're doing.
Finally, British Heart Association concluded their new study and suggested that drinking coffee, including in people who drink up to 25 cups a day, is not associated with having stiffer arteries. Now, the headlines are all over social media sharing that you can drink 25 cups of coffee a day without harming your heart. However, these sorts of claims are only vaguely true and not to mention irresponsible for coffee lovers. Now, the study researched over 8,000 people in the UK who drank anywhere from less than 1 cup of coffee up to, and this is, I guess, a real thing, 25 cups of coffee to see if coffee consumption was related to increased stiffening of arteries. After undergoing MRI heart scans and infrared pulse wave tests, the research showed that no increased stiffening of arteries was associated with those who drank this high limit when those who drank less than 1 cup a day. I find that hard to believe. 25 cups of anything is bad, right?
I've never done 2. I've done a second cup before and never finished it. I'm a 1 cup guy.
Yeah. I still don't drink coffee. Diet Coke is my vice. Happy to keep it.
Diet Coke's my vice too. So,
well, if you're only drinking 1 cup, coffee's not a vice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just something you're drinking.
Well, if I've got to have it every morning.
I guess so.
I got to have my coffee, Brownie. That is Trash, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Hey, it's buying season. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. They were veteran-founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country. While the area they serve may have grown, their commitment to Birmingham veterans has not changed. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. There is no cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information. Go to their website, mortgageright.com. Call 205-900-7200 to talk to someone right now and tell them the next round sent you.
Okay, so LT has done this with us 2 or 3 times in recent years. He asked the question, which SEC schools currently have the best head coach in their program's history? Despite his comment early on about Kalen DeBoer, I'm going to say Alabama's off the table with Saban and Bryant. 15 others in discussion when we come back on the other side right here on TNR.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemp Hill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemp Hill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Bryant Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, you. School's coming back. Time to gear up. And at New Balance Birmingham, we know what's up. Before hitting the books, check out the looks. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Champy's Chicken, last big thing, brought to you by Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go by and see Sterling and the crew. Over a decade at that location on Highway 119. Brined overnight, cooked to order. It is fantastic food. Piping hot when it comes out for you. Chicken fingers hand cut, all the great sides, and wonderful desserts handmade right there. It is champyschicken.com. Don't forget new nuggets, including a right tackle nugget over at covercrimson.com from Clint Lamb. You can go see the show, All Tied Up. Chris Marler, Vern Funquist on Twitter, and Clint Lamb. That's over at covercrimson.com. And then scoops from practice yesterday from Kyle Rush and the guys over at thebarnauburn.com, thebarnauburn.com. Go get the content right now. Start out at $1 and see if you like it for a month. And then sign on, buy yearly if you want to. Should be a lot of fun. If you're a Tiger fan, all season long. Basketball, too, all right there. All right, LT. This is a work you do occasionally. Best coach in SEC program history. I go Nick Saban over Bear Bryant, so that's my 1-2 at Alabama. Kalen DeBoer is just starting out, so it can't be him. Walk me through the others.
So Arkansas, their best coach in history on staff?
Bobby Petrino.
I think most Arkansas fans go Frank Broyles over him.
I would go Frank Broyles, I think.
Yeah.
It's just so short with Petrino.
Yeah. Well, we're probably going to get to see another go-around. We'll see. But I think that one's incomplete.
Yeah, it's not going to be Sam Pittman, though.
I mean...
Auburn is Pat Dye.
Hang on. Frank Broyles. I mean, do I remember him fondly because he was the voice of college football?
Maybe. Yeah. So Auburn, I think, is interesting because you would say Pat Dye, right?
I would say Pat Dye. I think a lot of Auburn fans always tell me Ralph Jordan because he won a national championship.
Well, his name's on the stadium, but it's Pat Dye.
I think it's Pat Dye.
If Hugh Freeze is there another 8 to 10 years,
he'd have to accomplish a lot.
He's going to have to do a lot.
Yeah, no, he's not going to be be there 8 to 10 years unless he does. You guys would give me that, right?
But Pat Dye had 4 SEC championships in a decade. 4 SEC championships in a decade for Hugh Freeze, and I'm willing to
talk.
I'm willing to talk.
Yeah. Look, Pat Dye was really good. How good was the SEC back then? I mean, that's the thing. Like, even if Hugh Freeze wins 7 or 8 games a year for the next decade, he's a really good coach, but he might never accomplish anything close because the SEC is so deep.
Yeah. That is true. That's true.
Florida will keep moving. Georgia has got their best coach, not even close.
Florida, you're saying because it's the guy's got to be
Spurrier
fired.
or Urban Meyer.
Yeah,
it ain't Billy Napier.
Kentucky, I think Kentucky, I mean, it depends on where you want to say Bear Bryant. You know, I'm just talking about for the years he's been there, you can make an argument Mark Stoops is the best.
Bryant was really good, but what was that, late 40s, early 50s?
It was, and I'm just going to give you, because it was a short stint at Kentucky.
4 years?
I say that. No, he coached longer there than I would have imagined. 8 years.
I thought it was 4, but 8.
60, 23, and 5, and won a conference championship.
Yep.
I still am going to say Stoops, just based on degree of difficulty now.
I think I would go Stoops, too.
Jerry Claiborne, I think, is considered their best coach. I think most Kentucky fans would go Jerry Claiborne.
It's going to be hard to say this in year 3, and Brian Kelly's got to get something done in the next couple of years. I still think it's incomplete because Nick Saban did win a national championship, but Nick Saban was a much better coach his second time around the SEC.
It would be easy to pass Saban. But I'm not going to deny that, just when you look at the overall picture.
But Kelly's got a ton of work to do.
It would be, but my point on Saban at LSU is I don't think Ed or Les gets theirs if Saban has never coached at LSU.
He doesn't, but you
much
can't.
like Pat Dye at Auburn, Brown. I Pat Dye's impact on Auburn still being impacted. It still has an impact today. It wasn't necessarily in his win-loss column.
Yeah, but that is true. But we just got to talk on field here. Nick Saban was good at LSU. He won a national championship, but a lot around that national championship was him building up to it. And then it dropped off just a little bit before he went to the Dolphins. I don't think it would be that tough to pass Saban at LSU.
I don't think it would.
It would be in Tuscaloosa. But not
Mississippi
at LSU.
State's Dan Mullen will keep going, right?
It is Dan Mullen.
Yep.
Missouri, Gary Pinkel is the guy, but Eli Drinkwitz, if he gets him to a college football playoff, then you start to say maybe
Already?
in the next. Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the next 3 or 4 years.
'Cause
He's got a lot of work.
You're a Gary Pinkel respecter.
Oh,
you
yeah,
like you some Gary Pinkel.
Pinkel would have had 2 teams that were, maybe 3 teams that were in the playoffs.
I mean, it's hard to respect Drinkwitz, but if he can back up what he did last year, you kind of have to.
113 and 73, 63 and 57 in conference play for Pinkel. 2 conference championship games he coached in, right?
Yeah.
Coaching 1 in the Big 12 and then 2 in the SEC.
That's true. Good point. Yeah.
Oklahoma will keep moving. Ole Miss, I think,
Who do you go Oklahoma? Barry Switzer, right?
Barry Switzer won 3 national championships.
Yeah, I think I would go Barry Switzer. Bud Wilkerson. I mean, Bob Stoops is at least going to get some honorable mention.
Yeah.
Ole Miss, I mean, I know they won championships in the 60s.
They were claimed.
Johnny Vault, right?
I mean, Johnny Vault, I don't know if any of those are recognized as, I know there's some claiming that Alabama does.
I thought 62.
They've got them on their stadium. That will jump out at you.
Anyway, Ole Miss could become, or Lane Kiffin could become that guy.
Yeah.
You guys give me that, right?
He's already thrown up 2 double-digit wins, and that's, we play more games now, but that's been significant.
59, 60, and 62 are the ones that they claim. However, they did not finish number 1 in the AP or the coaches in either one of those.
That's right.
So it's another one of the publications.
And if you just go AP and coaches, Alabama's got a lot more than people. They think they make up a lot of them.
Yeah, Spurrier, South Carolina.
Yes.
Very easy.
Tennessee, I find it hard to believe Heupel. I mean, I think Heupel could.
Yeah, it's going to be Neyland. I mean,
it's going to be Neyland, and Fulmer was really good.
Fulmer was really good. Johnny Majors was really good.
Yeah, but Neyland's the answer.
Texas A&M could end up being Mike Elko.
It could.
It's R.C. Slocum, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Is that who we call?
Yeah. Bear Bryant won a conference championship.
Yeah, but he wasn't there very long.
Texas, is it Darryl Royal? Is it Mac Brown?
I think Texas fans would say Darryl Royal, I think.
I think he had 3 national championships clumped together. 2 or 3. 67, 70, 71.
When your name's on the stadium, it becomes hard to argue against it.
And finally, Vanderbilt's got to be James Franklin, right?
Sure, why not? 63, 69, and 70 for Texas under Darryl Royal. And he won a bunch of games there, 167 wins, 109 conference wins.
Yeah.
A lot you got to do to pass him.
He was really, really, really good. So how many do we end up that current guy is? Mark Stoops?
Stoops, Kirby.
I would say those are the only 2 right now. And there's 4 or 5 that are incomplete.
I mean, Vince Dooley did a lot, but Kirby's already won 2 national championships.
That's done.
Yeah. Always interesting, especially when you get new coaches running around on what they have to do to end up being there, and how Mike Elko could be the guy at a place like Texas A&M. Who knows? Don't forget the Uncorked platform with new content out there from Little T and everything at covercrimson.com, thebarnauburn.com. Until next time, tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. God bless you. God bless America.